Hello, hello. Happy Black Friday, the first Friday of the Christmas shopping season, which is basically the Christmas season. So, happy holidays, everybody. I'm just doing a straight up open panel today, probably a short little panel, and I'm taking the next 2 days off. I'm taking the weekend off. I'll be back Monday at the usual time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Hey, Axis and Daniel Barry, that little online class I'm taking through that work source place on communication and stuff starts Monday morning. So after that's over, I'll do a stream and report back on that. Meantime, we're just going to do a straight up open panel. And I have a few things to say about yesterday. There was some trolling. There was some fight picking. I didn't start this channel to babysit adults, and that's not what I want to do here. I'm taking a drama break. There's going to be some people that are not going to come on the panel for a while. And I think I'm implementing a new rule. This applies to panelists. If you're in the chat, the rules still apply. If you start trouble, instigate, pick fights, come here to fuck with people, you'll get a timeout. If you keep doing it, you're going to get banned permanently. People that come on panel and troll, like we saw yesterday, you're going to get a panel break. You're not coming on panel. Maybe a week. You can participate in chat, but the same rules for chat apply. So if you come in chat and you start trouble, you're going to be banned. And if you get banned from chat, you're not coming on panel anymore. If you can behave in chat, I'll revisit the decision to keep you off of the panel. You can submit a $50 application fee, and you can make your case for why I should let you back on the panel. You can have a plan for how you're going to guarantee that it's not going to happen again, and we can come up with some community agreements and some consequences for if you break those agreements. Those are my terms. You can take them or leave them. I'm tired of babysitting grown-ass adults. The people that come on the panel and respect my channel, that's what this is about. I'm getting angry at not having my work respected. Because when you start shit with other people, that's a sign of disrespect toward me and what I'm doing here. I've asked people over and over and over to take it off stream. Take it to another channel where they don't mind that kind of stuff or they actually welcome that content, but don't take it to my channel. There are people that come on here that respect the channel, they respect the guidelines, and those are the people that deserve my energy and my efforts. It's not fair to them that I have to waste all my time monitoring these children that come and hijack what should be their space and their opportunity to get what they come for here. So those are the people I'm shifting my loyalties to from now on. Okay, I'm a pretty easygoing, gentle guy, believe it or not, till you piss me off. And yesterday some of you really pissed me off. 2600, is that the original Atari, like the brown? It had the fake wood grain. Let me look it up. What do you mean? You found it, so you still had it lying around somewhere? Do you still have the games? Yeah, that's the Atari. Hang on. Look at this, guys. Wow, this breaks back. So do you still have the cartridges? Do you have to blow all the dust out? How much dust is accumulated inside of them by now? Yeah, it was this. This was the Atari. Oh my God, I remember the buttons. What did they do? Let's see. Power. Oh, right. You could switch it to black and white. I forgot. Game select, reset. Man, look how fancy that thing was. That was half our childhoods right there, if you grew up Gen X. And Mike, you're one of the people I'm talking about. So I would strongly recommend you bring your most adult self in chat if you want a chance of coming back on the panel again. Hey, Blizzy, what's up?
What up?
Happy holidays. How are you?
What's going on, Jeff? How you doing?
Oh, not much. Same old.
How was
What you
your
been doing?
Thanksgiving? Was that one for me? Because I know I got drunk and I did a whole bunch of crazy shit, but I don't know what I did.
What? When did this happen?
Did I do something bad over here? Okay.
When it happened?
Uh,
Are you
like
drunk
two
now?
weeks ago, I think.
Oh. Well, how are you now?
No, no. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm in a happy mood, but
Okay. Well,
I'm
good.
not under the influence.
What's been going on? How was your
Why
holiday?
did I do something drunk?
Not on my channel. Not that I'm aware of. You might have done it on your channel.
Okay, okay.
Was it
Well,
like
I
blackout
mean,
drunk?
I like to know.
Yeah, no, I
Well,
haven't
I
seen
like
you
to
in a
laugh
while.
at myself when I do.
Last time you were on here, I think you were fine.
Yeah.
How
Well,
have things been going? How was your holidays?
it was good. Shoot, my holiday was awesome. Like, it's crazy because it's so easy for me to navigate in like life, but like navigating the cyber space is so fucking. Can I smoke on here?
Yeah, I don't care.
Cigarette? Okay.
Yeah, I
I
I'm
don't know
with you.
what I did though. Like that's the reason. Like you said that you haven't seen me in a while. People just stopped coming and hanging out with me. People stopped watching. Well, I know I pissed one person off who is like the big boss of everybody, and I pissed him off.
Wait,
And
what
then when I
big
pissed him
boss?
off,
Who's the boss?
I can't say it out loud because I would be gossiping. But it's
Oh,
just
type
somebody
it in the
that has
back
like
just
a
so I'll
big
know who you're
channel.
talking about. And we
Okay,
also have somebody in the back called Catholic Nun Tess. Somebody the name's cut off. First of all, I probably won't let you on today. I'm limiting my. This is a limited open panel. I should change the title. Um, I'm limiting myself to people that I know I can trust to respect my channel. I'm not gonna take a chance on new people today. But if you do want to come up, flash your camera, put your channel in the back, and let me know who you are. And maybe in the future I'll consider letting you on. Um,
okay, hang on.
okay, do you have a channel, Tess, that you could put in the back so I could see who you are? Yeah, I'm interested in this boss person. Is it? Well,
It's just
so
me and you on here right now, right? They can see.
well, YouTube's watching.
Yeah, but not
The
nobody.
world is watching. There's like 6 viewers. That's who I
Yeah.
thought. Okay, yeah, that's who I thought.
Okay. Okay. But
The
yeah,
boss.
the thing is that like what I did though, it was poor etiquette. It was purely hang on, I'm trying to get my phone. It was purely an accident. What do you call it? They had been live streaming for like 10 hours, and and like they're one of the people that was always like, son of a bitch. Sorry, hang on. I hate this thing. Okay. Um, they had been like literally like 10 hours, and like they did the lip service of saying like, oh yeah, I support you, what you're trying to do too, and I support. But so I'm thinking, shit, I helped this person, literally help this person fucking birth their channel, help this person spawn their fucking idea, and still to this very day give them ideas for content and all kinds of other shit. So I was like, they won't mind. Like they've been on for 10 hours. I'm about to go live because I had just gotten up. It was like 6 or 7 in the morning. I was like, I'm just like, I didn't even think about it. I didn't. It literally didn't even cross my mind. But I was like, hey, I'm going to be live in like 30 minutes. I tell the audience, and not like any of them even go over there really, except a couple. But the person fucking lost it. They're like, that's
For
fucking rude,
what?
bad manner. And I was like, what? Like,
What did they do?
they got mad at me. They haven't talked to me since.
For
Like,
just
they've been mad at me
just
since.
going on
Well,
and
they haven't
announcing that you're
talked.
going live? What's
Yeah.
wrong with that? Promoting channels.
Well,
I,
because
did they
they
think you were trying to
don't.
steal their audience?
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it was framed when it was like that shit really hit me like a sledgehammer because it's like, well, what? I thought that I helped you build your audience. Like I didn't realize that I was even capable of stealing them or whatnot. So like it was crazy because I didn't realize how many people would back up hating me for no reason at all. Just if told that they shouldn't like me. You know what I mean? So so I was like, well, fuck everybody, and I straight up was like, well, fuck, like anybody who has an issue with me, if you don't like, come on, man, like we're adults, man. If you do something that upsets me, I should be able to come to you and tell you, right? Like, so I respect that person for at the very least calling me out when I did it and telling me, but they've been twisted up with me ever since, like throwing passive aggressive jabs left and right. But
What is what episode was it? Is it still up? I'd like to take a look.
fuck, I don't even know. It was
Well,
forever ago.
that sounds like a personal thing with this person. Like, not that you did anything wrong.
Yeah, I don't care.
That
I mean,
happened to me on. I went to a. There's a channel I used to go to, and I was in the chat in the comments, and they had a guest on, and I made the comment. I said, "Oh, I really like that guest. I would like for them to come on my show." And they accused me of going into their chat and trying to poach their guest and steal their guest.
oh no, I did that
I said,
too.
"Okay, well,
I
you
did
don't ever
that
have
too.
to worry about me
I
coming back here again if
yeah,
that's what you think I'm
bro,
doing."
I'm autistic. Like I piss people off.
Yeah, we do that. But I don't internalize that. If I'm doing something and I don't think I'm doing anything wrong and somebody else does, that's their problem. I'm not going to let them make it my problem if I know what my intentions were. Moose, hello. Oh,
Well,
okay.
but
That's
okay, but
well,
what if like
if there's one thing I'm sure we can do, it's put you to
is that
sleep. You came to the right channel.
is that I was gonna ask you, Jeff, what if your viewers saw that interaction and they got mad at you for that? How would you feel about that?
That's on them. Like that's what I'm saying. If they're this person's audience is changing the way they feel about you because this person is kind of guiding them to do that, that's one thing. But I believe that adults can make their own decisions. So if I go on a panel and I do something, people can react however they want. If it affects how they participate in my channel, there's nothing I can do about that. Like I'm not going to get audience captured and adjust my behavior to how my audience wants me to be.
That's
I'm
what I
I'm
feel
I'm
too.
very good at just being who I am and taking the consequences. And if the consequences are people have a negative opinion and decide to stop watching my channel, I'm okay with that. Because the
Yeah.
price I pay for not being myself is higher than the price I pay for losing audience members.
And you see, that's where I'm at. Like, my last two live streams have literally been to an audience of zero people. And I think, like, it's amusing. Like, it's honestly kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, kind of like, well, what the fuck? Like, are people really genuinely? And if so, that says more about them than me, honestly,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's like, how fickle can you be? Like, and dude, this is the thing too, man, is people don't, bro, like, I'm on the spectrum, but I have like a fucking ability to store away information that is like unfucking imaginable. And like, the shit that I know about the stuff that goes on, just because people tell me in passing, that's stuck in my head.
Hmm.
And it's like, people are fucking grimy, bro. Like, people are literally like gross ass children on this YouTube thing, man. And they like traffic in information, and they use it to fucking extort and backstab each other to get what they want. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Would
Like,
when
it's
I notice
wild.
that, I stay away from all that. If you came on my
But
panel
it's
and announced that you
pervasive.
were going live, I would not have a problem with that at all. So I don't think you did anything objectively wrong. That particular person's sensibility.
That's the way I feel too, because I've never had an issue with someone coming and doing that. I mean, because like, I always looked at it as we share audiences, but I never looked at it as trying to captivate an audience for myself anyway. It was always shooting the shit with whoever happened to stop by. Like, it's not like I'm trying to rally up an audience. Even though I could do that, I don't. I don't feel obliged to do that. It's just, it's really taxing on my, like, conscience. I feel fake and stuff, you know?
Did you stay on the panel after it happened? How did the rest of the panel go?
Well, shit. Like, the thing is that we had a bunch of like content in the works, and when they told me that, I was like, it just upset me, man. It was
Yeah.
like, it opened my eyes to what the reality of the situation between us is. Because if you're telling me, hey, don't be coming over here trying to poach my audience while I'm still in the middle of a stream. And it's like, you've been on stream for fucking 10 hours. What are you talking about? So it's like, okay, you don't see me as an equal. So I'm not interested in contributing to shit of yours. So I told them, go ahead and nix whatever content we're working on. I'm not interested anymore. And I passed by to say hey here and there, just to try and see what the temperature is, for honestly, for their sake more than mine, because I could literally, like, just not give a shit and walk on with the rest of my life. But I tried to be kind like that, and like reach out and make amends, but they pretty much just slap my hand away every time. So it's like, well, okay.
The panelverse is very volatile. I've had that happen too, where working relationships go up in flames in half a second. And you got to remember
Yeah.
too, like, you think you have something going with this person one on one, but this person also has things going on with other people that you're not aware of. So they're playing your relationship. They're weighing it against all the other things they have going with all these other people, and they're prioritizing and making choices and decisions in the moment.
Yeah. Well, that's what really like turned me off the most, is that situation, but where they have negative stuff going on with other people, and I've literally like been as fucking transparent as I could have, that I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. I don't want to be included. Don't include me in gossip. And yet I still get told like these insanely personal things about other people, and it's like, well, fuck, man, like, I don't even want to know that about this person. I don't want to be judging this person. I don't want to be thinking like, if somebody does you wrong, it's not that I don't trust your judgment when you tell me they did you wrong, but I can't intercept that as a wrongdoing against me also, you know?
Yeah, I
It's
don't know
just
if you're going to
crazy.
stop the gossip though. It's what people
I
like to do,
know.
especially on YouTube.
Well,
That's
you
why I
know
try to
what?
be
You know what
transparent about all of it. Just get it out in the open.
one of the things well, that's what I try to do. Like that's the reason I piss a lot of people off because I'll put all of our business on the table. Like you shouldn't have communicated with me through YouTube if you thought it was that fucking important. You know, like it's if you communicate with me privately, then it'll stay private. But if we're on a live stream or a StreamYard or something, and it's obviously not that important. But what do you call it? Uh, yeah, man, people are just shitty. Like people are. Oh, it's the you know how when you go watch a movie, there's the suspension of disbelief. Like you allow yourself just to accept the terms of the movie just on the terms that it exists under and
Yeah.
consume that. Like we don't allow ourselves to do that with the streaming because we get too intertwined in the personal dealings of others, and it ruins the whole experience. Like that's what I've tried to disconnect from, but people don't want to fucking let me.
It's hard because we take it as more than just a movie. It seems like it's real people. Like it's not pre-planned content. It's live interactions that are happening spontaneously in the moment, just like they would in real life. So our brains take it as
Yeah.
genuine real life interactions more so than a movie. In fact,
Yeah,
I'm trying to
but if
imagine what
you
it's like to treat it as a movie. Some of
that's
the
what I get
stuff I can,
comfortable.
like the drama channel, especially if I know it's a production. There's a lot of people that do that inorganic content where they do bits just for content, but it's not real.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff I could take as a movie. But figuring out what's organic and what's inorganic has always been difficult for me on here. And the
Well, the only
organic
way to
stuff is
do
hard to take as a movie for me.
you have to remove yourself from from the equation. That's the
It's
only
hard,
way to do
especially
it.
when you try to build community.
Yeah. Well, there is no community on YouTube. Like there is no there. You can't. The thing is a digital person is not equal to a human person.
I don't know. My whole channel is built on the belief that community is possible. So if I were to find out that's not the case, I've wasted several years trying to pull off the impossible.
Well, I'm not saying that because it's the same for me. Like I always tried to build a sense of community. So like I find importance in the sense of community, but you and this is just what I'm coming to realize like as of late is that like you can't rely on every person that claims to be a part of that community being genuine in their intentions or in their commitment to that or in their anything. Like people literally go from being on your side in your corner to hating you and telling your secrets in the blink of an eye.
Well, when is your next live? When are you going live again?
Oh, I'm going live in 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I put Blizzy's channel in the chat, so you're welcome to check him out too. I
Yeah,
will.
if you guys want to come
I'm
by
not mad at
after
all, and
this,
I won't be mad if my audience wants to go watch him too.
but just don't come and don't say anything clever. Don't engage with me. Don't tell any jokes.
Oh,
Nah.
well, I don't know if my audience
Yeah.
is the best one for that.
It's just no expectations because honestly trying to figure out a way to, like I said, to disengage because I don't want to have to explain every fucking nuance of my existence every time that I say something just to get people to believe what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like
I
it's
mean,
crazy.
you can't control what people believe. You could just put the
Yeah,
information out there and they take it however they take it. And it'll be different for each
yeah,
person.
yeah. Watch, I'm like slowly stumbling my way onto the anti-red pill like position. Like
What is
I'm
that?
developing,
Because I'm
huh?
red pill. What's the anti-red pill position? Like feminism?
No, not feminism, just like true uh reality. Like the fact
Good
that
luck with
the
that.
yeah, I know. Well, because look, this is my whole thing is I think that the whole red pill argument exists so that like men can speak it into existence. Like, because a lot of there's it's a lot of fallacies. It's a lot of purposeful on purpose misunderstandings and misdirection and shit. And women really like when you think about it, or when you look at your mom, or when you look at your first girlfriend or your wife, like women are just as important as men on any and every level. Like to have a whole ideology built on the fact that women are less than is fucking ignorant.
That's not what I know the red pill as. I wonder how useful the term is anymore because it seems like it got confused with other movements in the manosphere that's different than the original red pill documentary, which was basically just men's rights and how like all of the ways that society is stacked against men and the family court system and feminism and all of that. That was the original red pill. So maybe
And you
like
see,
a
I think
term like
maybe the whole
masculinism or positive masculinity or something is a better term for what I'm calling red pill because the way people use it now seems more like the PUA movement and Andrew Tate and that crowd. But my red pill, when I say I'm red pill, has nothing to do with women being less at all. So if that's what
well,
people
that's
are
the thing
taking
is
away from
they
it, then it might be time to retire that term.
yep, they get conflated because and that's the immigrants. Oh, hang on.
Okay, and I want to
Okay,
address this
sorry, I had a
comment to
call.
Philip.
Uh, it's
In
like
the sense
immigrants.
of a YouTube community, it would be the channel owner just by default. But other types of community may have other ways for determining who has the final say on tough decisions. And I have like a little core team that I consult with on important stuff. So I get input and feedback. And the community itself is always welcome to give input.
Oh shit. Hey, my brother is calling me, so it must be important. But Jeff, I will
Okay.
see you
Oh,
soon, buddy. Thanks for
yeah,
the
no
talk, man. I
problem. And
appreciate you
Blind's
doing
going
your
live in a
chat,
bit too,
man.
so check him out if you want. All right, let's see. There's plenty of groups and communities that make this group. In fact, every anytime you start a nonprofit, you have to have at least 3 people to make up your nonprofit board. That's one reason I didn't start a nonprofit because I didn't want. There's risk and dangers involved with spreading the decision making among 3 people. Um, there's communities that make decisions by board or group. No, Mike, quit spreading misinformation. It has nothing to do with flow state. He's on the list too. He did the same thing. So, I specifically said don't instigate, don't pick fights. None of you could seem to respect that. So it's not just you. It's not just him. It's everybody involved in doing it. If you can't manage your hostility, don't come around people that provoke it in you. That's going to take you off your game. So you can think whatever you want, but it absolutely has nothing to do with flow state because he's included. In fact, I've decided to not even do the book club. So that's off too. We can do one here with us, but I'm not going to do it as a collaboration with him. I can't trust him to not troll, and he feels infantilized or constrained or restricted somehow when I try to negotiate terms with him on how we can do it without him having to resort to the trolling and passive aggression that he does. So I'm tired of fooling. I won't adult. There's plenty of people that come on here that can behave like mature adults and that can respect my channel. I don't have to waste my time on the ones that don't. I have plenty of ones that do, that deserve my time and attention. No, I know, Mike. I get it. I mean, I we're, as far as I'm concerned, we're cool. But you're taking a panel break for a while. I wish you had not shown up yesterday and instigated with Flo, because I can't treat you any differently than I treat other people. I can't make an exception for you. And everything that you come here and accuse other people of doing to you, you came yesterday and you did the exact same thing with Flo. So now you have no argument or case to make anymore against these other people. You've taken that away from yourself. I can't fix that. Like I can't have sympathy for someone that's doing the same thing that they're wanting the sympathy for. And I get Jess, I'm the same way. I get that. I'm respecting his nature. I know what that's like, but at the same time it's going to keep me from doing a book club with him. Daddy is backstage. I don't know if I want to take a chance on this one. Are you here to be cool? Did you hear my lecture at the beginning of adult people and that? All right, I'm going to take a chance.
What's going on, Jeff?
What's up, Paul?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? What's the trouble in paradise?
No trouble in paradise today.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I just caught the tail end because they were checking in on you over at OTW. So.
Oh, what does that mean? They're restreaming me?
Yeah, he's kind of doing the rounds, checking out who's live and checking in and commenting. But yeah, I didn't really get the context. But
what did he say that brought you over here?
Oh, he didn't say anything. He just had you up, and then I saw that you were live, and then I checked in and heard you were talking about apparently what sounded like the loser failures acting out.
Yeah,
like
I'm tired of the troll, like people coming over here and starting drama with other people instead of respecting my channel for what it is.
So are you open to that at times? Is it like curated, or is it pretty much it's pretty much an understood, like spoken, non-spoken rule that you're not really with?
It's an overt rule now. No, it's always been a rule. This channel is to help people like become better people, not to indulge in trolling and getting out their aggression and hostility on other people. I've flirted with the drama briefly for a while and decided it's not what I want here.
Yeah, I can understand.
So I took steps to eliminate as much of it as possible. But
yeah,
there's people that come here that have beef with other people and they can't restrain their hostility while they're on my channel. They come on panel with each other and they start sniping and attacking. I don't want any of that here.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then folks should use your place if they want to come over at all, then to practice neutrality, right? Like we did that one day with yourself, myself, Moose, a couple other people. Regardless of past issues, we use this area for what it was designed to be used for.
Yeah.
So we're practicing or exemplifying self-control. That's something that apparently isn't valued on these panels, I've noticed by many, if not most.
And some of them do. A lot of them do come here and successfully practice neutrality. And some of them that have been doing it get thrown off their game when certain other people show up. So I think it's a challenge in certain situations, depending on who's around.
Right. And I mean, I'm not going to give you advice, but I mean, you may know something or find out something I haven't, but obviously you see how my area gets or has become. And I'm not saying that I didn't let that happen. So you may just be taking more of an active role in setting a tone, but you may come to find out or not. Maybe I'll come to find out the opposite, that part of doing these panels and doing a broadcast is having to entertain, at least to some degree, the dysfunction and the drama and the gossip, and then maybe setting a direction and a tone, right? So I think you have an opportunity to use it for what it could be used for, right? Where you don't allow it, but when it comes up, you set a tone and a direction and give people the opportunity to do resolution, right?
Yeah. Well, the rule is if it does come up, we try to learn from it. And if we can't learn from it, then there's no reason to have it on here.
Right.
And I think to the extent that I'm able to control it and choose how much of it I want on here, I think that's the best course for me to take. And I mean, I'm the channel owner, so I should be able to control all of it.
Yeah. I think it could be a burden.
So if it happens here at all, ultimately I'm accountable for that. However, whatever amount of it shows up here, I'm the one that allows that amount to persist.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I found it to be almost, unless you just stick to yourself and do whatever your program and plan is and talk about what interests you, I found if you open it up to the public, that you're going to have some percentage of these things going on. Right. It's almost impossible to, in any group dynamic, to avoid. I guess, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know how the universe has it planned for us, right?
Yeah, and I wrote up some community guidelines a while back that's posted in each description. So the assumption is if people are here participating, that they agree to those guidelines, and so I use that kind of as a filter to decide who gets to stay and who not. But also, there's plenty of people that come here that I don't have to worry about that from. So the people that bring the drama is a very small percentage. And so I think the people that come here and respect the channel for what it is are the ones that deserve my effort and attention. And that's who I want to give my energy to. I don't want to have it siphoned away by all the drama trolls.
Yeah, I pretty much said something just like that the other day, and then proceeded to, over the next 2 or 3 days, entertain a complete fuck show, freak show over there. So I can understand the sentiment.
You're kind of set up for like like from the start. Your channel's a little different than mine.
Yeah. There's
So what
tone,
prompted you to entertain it after making the resolution not to?
I'm just kind of philosophical about it in the sense of I genuflect to the idea of a perspective of God-like, and what that leads me to is being open to everything that is the experience of life, but then providing, if possible, some direction or revelation, or just turning the chaos into order for entertainment, right? If possible. So I've tried to take a more philosophical approach of open to everything, whether accepting or not, and then using it for what it can be used for. And then kind of moving on, staying as neutral myself as possible without having to project that onto others, right? Because then, again, we wish for this and want this till it happens. Then you realize maybe that, and again, this, I'm just speaking for me, and it might be a revelation of my toxicity. I can find it to be boring at times. When you stream as much as I do, right? 3 to 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just sitting, talking truth, facts, history, whatever else, it gets monotonous. So it's almost like the universe's mechanism to kind of keep things fresh while also being rather predictable is, the highs and the lows, I guess, sort of the order and the chaos, right? Such is the universe. So, I try to take a philosophical approach. Oftentimes, though, I rest on exactly what you just said, that, hey, after 3 to 4 hours, especially, I'm here to do certain things. I'm open to everything, but there's kind of a line in the sand, right? Of just complete intransigence and disempowerment and insanity and just negativity for the sake of it, right?
Do you ever take breaks?
No, I broadcast every day. I at least get an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
It's so easy to do. I'm the same way. I almost never take breaks. I'm taking the weekend off and seeing if that makes a difference. But so you just kind of take whatever comes at you and roll with it in the moment. But part of your motivation is because you have like a brain for what makes good content. Even if this is not productive, it can still be used for content. Right. And so I think you have more of a range of what you're able to do with what the panelverse throws you away at any given moment. And me, I'm locked into very specific goals that it either falls into or doesn't.
But you're saying you're choosing that, or you believe that that's just you by default, and you have to accept that.
Yeah, no, in a way I'm choosing it. Like I'm here for very specific things, and I know what those things are and what they're not. But it sounds like you're, and one of them, I'm not here for content necessarily. Like I'm aware that a lot of what I do here is not always going to be exciting to viewers, but it's still going to be valuable to the participants themselves, and so I'll make
Right.
allowances for that. But you have more of a sense for what an audience wants, what keeps a channel going, what keeps numbers up. So if a little bit of chaos or drama comes your way, you're kind of able to transmute that into some kind of content that still benefits your channel. And I don't
Well, yeah, I
necessarily
think that
have
that's
that
a.
sense for my own.
Well, I don't. I mean, I accept your account of you because I'm not you, but I also don't tend to necessarily believe. I mean, again, maybe it's a projection or a presumptive, kind of egotistical state of beingness. But I've just learned in life, for myself and with others, that we are malleable and adaptable if we choose to be. But on the other side of things, I can totally understand and respect the perspective of you saying, "Hey, I could do that. It's available to me, but I'm not choosing that at this time,
Yeah,
right?
I
Because
mean,
that's
I've
just
done it
what's right for
before.
you."
I've definitely tried the drama before. Also, like with those autistic people, sometimes we're a little more rigid and inflexible than other people could be. So once we get fixed into something, it's harder to get us to move or bend as much as non-autistic people might be able to.
Well, yeah, I don't call myself autistic, but I'm sure many other people do. And what you just described would be sort of exemplary of how I live, in the sense of I'm very routine oriented. I'm very sort of set in my ways, even down to what I eat, and even the idea that I broadcast every day, right? So I don't take on those labels because I find those labels to be impediments and self-limiting, right? But I'm not necessarily saying that I don't share the qualities that are being pointed to in the description, right? Of
Yeah, the
quote unquote
jury's out on
autistic.
you. I can't quite pinpoint if you are or not. I can make a case either way.
I mean, what if we find out that God and humanity is all quote unquote autistic?
Well,
It's just
I
varying
think
levels and degrees.
I think there's a little bit of it in everybody, or potentially a little bit. There's so many genetic factors that go into it. Like everybody's bound to have some little combination of it somewhere. It's just if it rises to the level of observability or impacts functionality some kind of way.
I'm
This
just I'm
is
noticing
Paul
someone down there
Unslave. You
is.
may have heard about. I just dropped his channel, so check him out if you want. The Notorious Paul.
I just noticed someone in the chat says, "Paul, go a week without saying the word I or me." Can I ask why? Um, and can I ask how that's been beneficial to you and why I would do that? Just out of curiosity, because a lot of folks tend to have advice for me because it seems that they presume certain things about me, um, rather than
They
attempting to understand.
they might be trying to make a comment upon you as a
Right.
person.
It's a lot of projection and presumption at times. The point is, when I went to AANA, it's very interesting because they encouraged us there to keep everything in the eye, as in taking personal
I
accountability and
statements.
responsibility for
Yeah.
oneself. So why would one think that there would be benefit to removing liability, accountability, personal responsibility, and the conception of a relationship with self or higher self? Because when I say I'm not necessarily talking about a prideful center, right? I'm talking I and I, as in oneself, pure consciousness and awareness. I can say I and also mean Jeff and Sasquatch and everyone else in the interaction that is the universe.
Well, hey, Squatch, you have thoughts?
What's up, baby? I thought I had thoughts, but then I heard about my higher self and realized that I need to grab something right quick.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Not laws. How do you interpret beyond your own psychology? You talking about self-transcendence? That's a very ambitious goal. I don't know that any of us could pull it off fully.
The presumption is that I'm not interpreting psychology beyond self. My declarative statements of this just may be my presumption or projection is an attempt to create some objectivity and view myself and Jeff and others from a third party perspective. So I mean, just simply, again, the presumption from you is that I means only Paul Unslaved. When Paul Unslaved uses I, it means all I and I, pure consciousness and awareness having a human experience. You could argue Jeffrey was doing that, saying he's autistic, and then the presumption is I'm not, and then he does these certain things, and the presumption is that he can't change. And all I was calling a perspective or awareness to is that I just see a relation to all selves, and that potentially we all have an ability to change or choose or grow or learn or alter our psychology and chemistry. Right. If not seeing that in my own life, I want to believe that.
You've
So
altered
that
your
was
chemistry.
my attempt to be objective. Go ahead.
You've altered your chemistry.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it's pretty much a fact at this point. I mean, I come from a state of beingness of intrusive thoughts and constant negative, intrusive emotions. And I think that's the purpose of mantra and tantra, yantra, these things that we hear and see about other cultures, right? It's an attempt to change the psychology and the brain chemistry and the synapse response and reactivity in order to have more power to choose over oneself and interaction with others. So, I mean, I don't think anything can really be proven here, but there's certainly a ton of evidence to the fact that, you know, we have an aspect of neuroplasticity. We can alter our chemistry and then alter our perspective and then alter our results with practice and training.
By the way, Not Laws is sometimes a troll. Most of us learn to ignore him after a while.
The neuroplasticity you're talking about and the concept of like manifestation that other people talk about, I think they're the same thing, right? Like, you think about taking advantage of circumstances that you noticed in the past, and that prepares you to notice opportunities in the future. And you imagine yourself taking advantage of those opportunities. And then when one comes along, it's easier for you to do it in the moment if you've thought about it before.
Right. Like right now, I'll give you an example of what you just said. Not whatever his name is, as the man says, Jeff says, who just addressed me, is now attempting to gaslight me and project onto me. So I'm going to choose to disengage, as is different from maybe what you've seen in the past with me almost running down chatters and mounting them. Right. So I have an ability to choose in each situation what I will do. That is self-control and self-mastery, because it's obvious that individual does not want to engage in a dialogue and is not being objective. They already have their mind made up about me, and it has to be that way no matter what I show and what the results show. So I'm going to disengage now. Thank you for your interaction.
Yeah, he's not always in good faith. Mr. B, people change their psychology all the time. Like, I mean, I've definitely changed mine. I don't have the same reactions and make the same choices that I would have 10 years ago when
Amen,
faced
bro.
with certain circumstances.
If people can't change their psychology, how do people get clean? And it's sometimes the smallest thing that triggers them. They stumble and sprain their ankle on a street corner, and they decide they can't live this life no more, and they go home and get clean. If that's not altering your personality or altering your brain chemistry, I don't know what is.
And if there's one thing I think psychology observes about the human mind is that it's dynamic. It's not static. Most of the psychodynamic models of the human mind are very dynamic models. Because the mind is in flux, it does change.
We call that dead air, folks. Brought to you by Jeff.
By me, we have
a lot
three of us
other
on this
places.
panel. Why am I the one that's bringing the dead air?
Baby. It's just funsies.
That might be a record for the most dead air while Paul Enslaved was on a panel.
Well, I'm in a different modality here today, Jeffrey. You said that we don't care about keeping numbers up or keeping content, so I'm willing to take a breath and enjoy the silence.
Oh. And Sasquatch, you said you had some thoughts when you got back.
Yeah. So, and I hate to keep harping on the same concept, but the concept, the general idea of manifestation carries through to activity. If you just sit around and think about it, you're no different than that guy who sits in his basement and plays video games all day. But it takes that action, that activity. You have to engage in life, because life is what happens when you're planning to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Like translating thought into action.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see the opportunity, but if you don't take it, it's useless. You can take the opportunity, but if you don't follow through, it's useless. You can even follow through on that opportunity, but if you don't follow up on the action, it's useless.
Well, we've talked on here before about that. One of my frustrations is that it seems to attract a lot of dreamers with a lot of ideas, but very few doers.
Yeah. And
You're gonna trigger people with that.
Yeah, person. You're gonna trigger a person with that. Dude, okay, we need our dreamers. We need our dreamers. They are necessary, even if they can't accomplish shit. The reason we need our dreamers is because the doers hear the dreamers' dreams, and some of them can do it.
But where are the doers? Because so far it's been like 2 years
They're
of
at
dreams,
work, bro.
and very little doing.
They're at work. They're not on YouTube talking trash.
Damn it, they're out there doing.
Now that's kind of disrespectful and insulting. I'm right here.
I'm just
Well,
saying,
we had 2 ideas that came up in Discord this morning. Let me see, what were they? Outliers dating service, and the Spur Kitchen show thing that Joe came up with. 2 great ideas with lots of potential in them. And I said, where are the entrepreneurs that know how to translate this into reality? And there were crickets.
I think a Jeff cleaning show might go well.
Oh, I don't. If it only in a negative sense of how not to clean. I think I would have a very successful how not to clean channel. Watch Jeff do it and do anything but what you see him doing.
So I want to just offer a different perspective, just for the sake of argument, if nothing else. But I do see value to this. The idea that we need to take from each other and become more whole as beings. So rather than have the dreamers who dream and the doers who do, we have doers become more dreamers and we have dreamers become more doers, right? So through the experience with each other and the reflective state, we can then ascertain what we need more of and a little bit less of to become more of a holistic co-creative being. So I'd be an example more at one time of a dreamer, right? I didn't want to do. I was very lazy and procrastinating. And I've had to train again my chemistry, my inner space, to do what I don't like to do because it needs to get done, right? Because again, we're back to the whole Talcottian perspective. If we live in the metaphysical realm and we don't anchor that in the physical, we will not achieve co-creative results. And what happens when no one else will do it for you, right? So it's going to require a little bit more of us. So in your case, I would say, if you really want to do that and it's something you really want to do, then you're going to have to learn part-time what you need to at least do the minimums to get it going, right? You can't rely on somebody else coming out of the clear blue to do it for you. You're going to have to take
but I also
that
don't
dream
want to be a
and make it
one-man
physical.
show that has to do everything.
That's the point. You don't want to be, but creation is ordering you to be, right? I didn't want to be a one-man show either. I was looking for broadcast sort of team. And it came about at times and it left at times. And it always requires me to come back to self and being co-creative and getting on with the show, right? The show must go on. The world's
I
full of
haven't
good
had a
people.
lot
If
of
you
luck
can't buy
into
one, be
turning
one.
dreamers into doers yet.
I'm not sure dreamers can be doers until their dreams have been crushed. I hate to be that guy, but most of your very hardworking guys that are really putting their nose to the grindstone didn't want to do what it is that they are doing. That's where they are. In their mind, they are dreaming or once dreamt of something else, right? And that's a hard thing to realize, that level of failure has to precede a level of success.
Yeah, well, okay, then we should get to crushing more dreams.
I'm not
That's it.
adverse to this. This is accurate. No, I agree with this point. Your dreams are probably never going to happen. Statistically speaking, you will not be in the NFL. You
You
are
know
not
why?
that good of a rapper.
You know why? Because you just described why. Because you're not going to do it. And there's going to be someone else out there who's going to dream less than you dream, but put the damn work in, and they're going to outcompete you. They're going to make
Amen.
that vision happen.
Exactly.
I am that guy to some degree. I'm just the loser who was dreaming and decided to put some effort in and got some result, right? And stay consistent for whatever that means. And that proves to me that if I can do it, anyone can do it. The issue is exactly what you just described, that we're codependent rather than interdependent.
I don't think
So-
I'm codependent.
One of the ways I've gone about building my channel, and I know we're not specifically talking YouTube, we're talking life in general, but I've learned a lot from how this thing's come together. I realized early on that I cannot do it alone. Iron Manning a channel is something that went out in 2016. People don't typically succeed very well doing that type of stuff, and any little bit of help on the edges can be very helpful to the one in the center, right? Keep in mind, you have to maintain control of your channel. You can't allow other people to come in and dominate you in your own space. And if you do, that's your own problem. You have to solve that problem on your own time. So what I started doing was I joined a panel, and the very first panel I joined, I ended up taking it over by accident because I was so curious about the different people on the panel. I kept asking questions, and I got invited back by several people that were on the channel, and someone suggested I make a show out of that. And that's where Sasquatch Shills comes from. When my curiosity gets the best of me, I just ask. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But in doing so, I have put together a significant list of people who are at least real people and not little chess pieces that are just marching around from somebody else's orders, right? And I might be wrong on a few, and I may have missed a couple.
How
but
long is the list?
It's just him so far. Same
right,
as
yeah,
my
I'm
list.
working up. See, I've got the three voices in my head, and you, Jeff.
Oh.
That's it. No, seriously, over like 350 different channels and stuff, and ranging over 4 years. I mean, there's a bunch that I don't have edited and listed up just because I'm a lazy bastard. But you know, you got to get drunk sometimes, right?
Mardi Gras. Also, I'm trying to do a community, so I want it to have other people's efforts involved. I could start a cult or a one-man organization, but I'm deliberately trying to do something different from that includes the efforts and ideas and visions and input of other people, so that it's something larger than just one individual person.
Someone asked in chat, your troll boy there, who knows more about God, the priests or the congregation? Typically, they're reflections of each other, like most things in life. But I will give you this to trigger, if nothing else, if necessary. You could argue the pastor or the preacher is always, quote unquote, more godly than the congregation for only one reason, that the preacher believes God works with him. The congregation believes God works with the preacher. They've separated themselves from God to follow a man.
I agree with that. There's nothing wrong with that statement. I want to counter that question with another question. If you're having problems in your marriage, do you talk to a priest or a bartender who's had 5 divorces?
The only two choices.
I'm just saying, like, we're kind of using extremes as an example here, and it is an extreme, but it is a direct example I witnessed take place one afternoon. So it's not just a pie in the sky hypothetical. I watched this mental struggle take place on a man.
I guess for me it would depend on what the specific issue was, but I'd probably tend more toward a bartender than a priest. I mean, I'm not likely to talk to a priest about much anyway.
I was of the opinion he should go to the priest because he is a recovered alcoholic, and no matter how useful the information from the bartender would be, it would put him in the bar. That was the only complaint I had with him talking to the bartender.
Okay. So you come in at a
slightly
different
not so much that I thought he would fold and fall off the wagon, but that the possibility opportunity and method was sitting in front of you.
What I would really do is call a friend. I have a collection of friends that I call for that kind of
Can
stuff.
we
But
poll the
it's
audience?
similar. It's closer to a bartender, I think, than a priest.
Sure. I mean, a priest has his place. If you're a religious individual, he really has his place. But even if you're a secular and you don't care one way or another about any of that stuff, a priest still has his place in that your family members may believe, and it may help qualm some of their issues with whatever it is that you're doing.
My mom used to take me to a lot of priests growing up, and
I bet she did.
they were what I remember about priests is they were like surrogate father figures. They would take me fishing. One of them had a camp. They take me to their camp. They like tried to do things with me that a male role model would do, more than any kind of counseling or trying to address specific issues. And that had value. I mean, that was nice to have. But they weren't necessarily problem solvers. Okay, well, not lost. Keep modeling that enlightened behavior for us.
Right. That's the thing. I said I was going to disengage. He's got such great sort of remarks that then could trigger a conversation or non-versation from me, but he apparently won't come up to do it because I'm
Oh, no,
guessing, like most, he's cowardly. So how can one claim to be enlightened and self-mastered but be too cowardly to hit a panel and then do reverse projection onto me? I love to address these comments just because I think it creates clarity. Your primary psychological motivator should be the freeing of all men's minds, not to fill the ego. If you don't fill yourself, in a sense, or nurture yourself and create a valued core sense of self, you can't free anyone else. The way to free others is by creating your best self, giving it away, letting people watch that, and then walking that path. You need ego in this life. It's called the sense of self. You can't unslave someone else without a valid, valuable, powerful, inspiring sense of self. You're victim identified. I'd love to help you, but you won't let me because you've already projected onto me who and what you are.
Yeah, he's trying to free
It's
you,
your
not
ego,
lost.
not mine.
Paul,
And I don't think it's my responsibility to go around freeing people's
is
minds.
this your first experience with not laws?
There seemed to be a very non-memorable character. So if I have interacted with him in the past, I don't remember it.
Okay,
Seems they remember me though, for obvious reasons.
I've witnessed him slip his mask slip at least twice, and it's a very interesting psychological case.
Oh, and he's Canadian. I forgot to mention.
That's
right.
just
You have a lot of cowardly, weak, victim-identified people who project their weakness and ego identification onto me, and then pretend that I'm doing superiority complex because they've settled on inferiority complex. It's not a good look.
I don't disagree.
That's
with
in Nietzsche, by the way.
Yeah, no.
That's not a Nietzsche. That's a Pauli. I didn't take that from him. I got that from my own firsthand experience.
he
I've correlated
got
it with Nietzsche and others because life is life. Truth is truth. It doesn't change.
Toast is toast. It's the thing. It's been discovered. It can be rediscovered by another person.
Not lost. What you never do come on panel. Why don't you come up? You don't have to cam up.
Jeff, you're asking a question you already know the answer to, and I will catch hate for just saying what it is. Why he won't come up is because he's a coward, so he's not fit to tell people how to live their best life. Nor am I, quite frankly. So when he asks down there, Paul, have you ever been asked something and taken a second to say, I don't know, or let me think about it for a while? I have. It's few and far between, because if nothing else, I'm a genius of myself. What does that mean? It means that I know what's right for me in the moment, even if it's not right for me later. And I know by the life practice that we will find that out. So I'm owning me in my position in every situation, right? And I'm giving you my perspective. When a man is asked, he answers. What is there that's not to some degree knowable by firsthand experience if you have discernment and clarity? It's just another gotcha attempt. You're trying to make me seem ignorant and
I'm telling you,
arrogant
he's
and
a troll.
egotist.
Half the time, like you
No, he's not a
don't get
troll.
caught in
This
a
is
loop with him because half of the time he's trolling.
well, yeah, I can disengage the loop if there's something else that we want to focus on, but I don't even see it as a loop because I think that this is a common resistance point in conscious and awareness. This is a common example of how people receive me and or this information.
Hold on a second. Hank O'Flamio over here says he's not a coward, but he's trying to install Linux again. Does that make you a moron? I mean,
I thought you already had Linux, Hank.
but he's having to reinstall it again because it doesn't
And welcome,
work.
Leggy.
Hola, ¿cómo está? How are you today?
Oh, pretty good.
Roger?
We're talking about, I don't know, the self.
Self?
I don't think I know the meaning of life. I'm with Kafka that the meaning of life is that it ends.
What? The meaning of life is pretty much, well, I mean, I guess if you want the biblical sense or if you just want the common sense.
I want the leggy sense.
I mean, life is just that. You were born to to live a life that you were gradually, progressively working towards death. You know what I mean? As soon as you're born, you're working towards your end of date time. Now, what you do with your time here on Earth, that's completely up to you. Whether or not you leave a good mark, no mark, a bad mark, whatever, it's perfectly up to you. You know what I mean? But as far as the biblical sense, the meaning of life is to be born, spread your seed, and die. Pretty much, and just keep the human species alive.
You're claiming that's the biblical meaning of life?
I don't know. I mean,
I think he's minimizing the concept of go forth and multiply.
Yeah, no, that would be more of the, I guess you could say, supernatural meaning of life in and of the world naturally, right? As a creature. But I think higher conscious awareness reveals to us that the meaning of life is to create or find meaning in one's life. So look around and then ask yourself, what would be meaningful, valuable, powerful, inspiring here at this time?
Well, that's what I said. It's up to you what you do with your life, whether or not you want to leave a good mark, no mark, or a bad mark. You know what I mean?
It turns out that by going into self, we find out no self and that we're all the same self. So the same meaning and value and power and inspiration is available for all of us here now to solve the problems we all face.
I mean, at the core, we all have the same issues. We want you need food, water, and substance, and people to survive. You know what I mean? You need some type of culture because I mean, isolation's not good for an individual. So,
do you read, Paul? Or have you ever been a reader?
Yeah, of course. At one time, I was more of a reader than I am at this point.
Well, this isn't shade. I'm just curious. Have you ever read "Stranger in a Strange Land" by Robert Heinlein?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. Well, in the book he goes over a quote unquote a Martian concept, and it's very much very much similar to what you just said about everybody being a part of it, and only the I is important to the I. I can't remember what you just said, but what you said just smacks a whole bunch from Stranger in a Strange Land.
Because truth is truth. We're all having the same experience or not, right? And then the or not is still the same experience on the quote unquote other side. But yeah, it's like the guy in chat, right? He's projecting onto me that when I say I, that I think I'm the center of the universe. No, I just understand that I'm the center of my universe in the sense that I only have control over me and what I do and create. Thereby comes the meaning of life for me. Turns out once I discover that and do that, it's the meaning of life for every other me out there. So that's like a collective conscious and unconscious thing. That's not an individuated Pauly thing, right? We all need rights and freedom. We all need.
That's a very satanic outlook. I'm not sure if I'm not sold on that we're all the same self, or that we would have a way to know one way or the other. If
you leave your body in pure conscious and awareness, you are the same self that I am. You are the same electrical force, the same conscious and awareness. You're not having the same processing at times, because of the vessel and the experiences of the vessel. But that
But
can also
that's
change
an
as well.
untestable assertion.
Oh, I'm not
Because all you
claiming that
can know is your
anything.
own self. So you'll never know how identical it is or is not to somebody
Right, but
else's self.
the cliche is know thyself, know the universe for a reason. Because once you truly know yourself, you can see how every other self is based in some order and sort of interacting with a level of cause and effect. So you can actually know other people without interacting with them beyond a certain point. That is the cornerstone of psychology and sociology. That by knowing oneself, I can get in the room with 10 people and get to the root of pretty quickly who they are and why and how to change that and become better. It's
Is it
also a
that, or
cornerstone
you're
of
just
life
better at
coaching.
picking up certain patterns of people? I mean, because everybody has certain patterns that they do, certain ticks, certain tells, like, and they do them over and over and over, no matter what the situation is. You know what I mean? Like Jeff's, he rocks back and forth. This gentleman down here, well, I haven't been on panel with him enough to quite pick out his ticks. Like Mike Cerrone, Mike's he goes to his laugh.
Right, but what's the
Uh,
core experience there? They're all doing different ticks for the same reason. They're fearful or insecure at times or challenged.
No, well, I
We
mean,
all have the same experience of fear. How we react to it is different, but we're having the same experience. That's the
well,
point.
then that goes to fight or flight. You know, whose
Right.
fight or flight's more active than the others? I mean, then that goes into subconscious and what you're aware of and not aware of. You know what I mean?
There's also a neutral state. That's the point. The guy in chat is displaying a fight or flight scenario. He's trying to fight me from a chat box and flighting from the panel. I'm achieving a neutral state by describing the cause and effect, why it's happening, and how to solve it.
God, if you could figure out how to solve him, you really will be a guru.
I can figure out how to solve me, which will solve him. He has to figure out how to solve him by replicating me. He won't do it because he
He
thinks
won't.
I'm being egotistical.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that philosophy because what works for one doesn't necessarily work for the other.
No, it does.
May
No.
it not be a time
No, it
difference?
does.
It
That's the
just
I'm
cornerstone of
not
life
sold on that
coaching
either.
and drug addiction and rehab and all the rest of it. If you take somebody and they put down their toxic influences and they work hard inside and out and they achieve stuff, they're going to feel better and they're going to have an easier time living life without the plague of addiction and vice, right? So it's the cornerstone of all practice from the beginning of time. The point is, most people are not willing to, they really don't want it. And faced with the opportunity to do it, they're constantly getting in their own way. Right. So it's not that it can't happen. It most likely won't happen because everybody wants to have their own individualized state of beingness. It's their ego. The realization that we have to drop that lower self to attain harmony with a higher self doesn't appeal to them because they lose their illusory individuation. See?
Yeah, I don't think that's a path for the majority of people.
It's not. Never has been, probably never will be. And the reason at the core is cowardice. It's the same reason why we can't achieve freedom and rights all at one point, because the core of it is cowardice. We all know we need it. We all know we can do it, but we all won't ever have it because they want to say Paulie Boy's egotistical instead of saying I'm cowardly as a self.
Or just limitation, like personal limitation. I don't know that everybody has the capacity to even walk that path. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of awareness, a lot of drive, persistence.
Do you want it?
Yeah, desire.
That's it.
And some people, if they're socialized enough and adjusted to society in a comfortable way, there's no motivation or incentive to go beyond that. In fact, it could even be detrimental to them to disrupt that.
Leggy, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe in coincidence?
Oh man.
He said, "Leggy, shut up."
Oh man. It's hard because yes and no. Yes and no.
No, sir. I will not accept that answer.
I believe that they happen. Like there are things that
Well,
happen.
simply, do you believe that shit happens? Is my question.
I
Do you
mean,
believe in
I
coincidence?
believe shit happens because look, if it can happen, trust me, I'm the guy it will happen to. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
not if
am
we're in the
that
same
guy.
room together. Then the
So like, you
universe is
know
going
what
to
I
have to
mean?
fight it out.
If like it can, like I when I tell you some wild stories, like sometimes I can't make the like I'm not making this shit up at all. Like, you know what I mean?
Sometimes
So,
you are.
like,
Yeah, no.
I'm not like intentionally
The
doing
answer
this
to this
shit.
question, brother, is a simple yes or no. Do you believe in coincidence? I will accept the answer. I'm not going to ask you to try to verify it by some stupidity. I'm
Leggy's a
just
Yeah,
complex
yeah,
person.
okay, yeah, yes. I
okay. You
do.
believe in
I
coincidence. Thank you,
I
Paul.
do
Do
in some
you
shape
believe
or
in
form.
coincidence?
Yes and no.
I don't like the answer, but go ahead. Try
Because
try it.
you're trying to simplify something that's not
Well,
so
no,
simple.
it's a very simple thought process. And after Paul answers, I'll
Yeah,
give
it's
this.
subjective in the sense of I'd have to have the experience and then look back at it and then rely on my other experiences to decide, was that a coincidence or was that seeming coincidence that was part of a bigger order and plan. So I don't even know if it's if we're even capable of discerning that
Right.
completely. But it would
That's
seem
kind
to
of my
me that
perspective
there,
on
yeah, it would seem to me that there's nothing here in this realm that is complete coincidence. But it's like if you walk by a tree and an acorn happens to fall, you know, is it always related to you being there at the time and
Well,
walking
it's like
by? Yes and no, I guess, right? Like we're in
it.
an
it was like
enclosed
that
system
story
that
I
is
told
all
you yesterday,
connected.
Jeff.
We're
I
Complete
in an
agree with you.
enclosed
coincidence.
system that is all connected where randomness is still connectivity, right? So it's like
Okay, so
yes
is
and no. You
any
get
of
what I'm
that
saying?
stuff coincidental? Any of it,
Yeah,
even the
I
most
think
simple thing.
does it all have like definitive meaning in the sense of
Thank
it's
you.
pertaining to me, you know, and my
All
life?
right,
Not necessarily,
or
but
even,
there is
even not
connection
even
there.
you. Thank you. The reason I ask this question from people, there are some people who will answer definitively, no, there is no such thing as coincidence, which means everything that happens in their life is by order of some plan that they believe is taking place, right? And then other people will say, oh yeah, it's all coincidence. And everybody's somewhere between the two. But I've found the it's all coincidence people to largely be easier to deal with than there's no such thing as coincidence people.
In what way?
Every way. Someone who is convinced that the world operates by a definitive plan typically has fallen down the rabbit hole of trying to discern the pattern of this plan that they believe is taking place. I'm not saying they're nuts, but they're a little bit hokey for me. It's like a snake oil salesman trying to sell me pieces of paper with numbers on it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but you get my point.
I
It's
and I encounter them mostly within the free will debates, and they're
right. This
usually
is
frustrating.
this is one of the questions I usually ask before I get to any free will debate because it gives you a good firm groundwork on whether y'all are going to be speaking the same language moving forward. Communication is key.
Oh yeah, in anything, in anything.
Leggy, what were you saying about the story you told yesterday?
Well, I was gonna say coincidence. You know, it was like complete coincidence. I was at that store yesterday where I ran into them people for fucking like I haven't seen in like 20 years. You know what I mean?
Oh
Complete
yeah.
coincidence. But then like they're looking at me like I should know who the fuck they are. It's like no.
Well,
Like this is
maybe you
a one
should,
in a life chance. Like fuck, I don't. You know what I mean?
because they remembered you, so they thought, well, if I remember him, he should
Well,
remember me. We should have
as
the
I said,
same
the girl
memory.
was big, but now she's not big no more. So that plays a big role.
Hank,
Big
Hey,
role.
Sasquatch, I want to answer your question whether I believe in coincidences, and I would say yes. And I define coincidences as something you didn't plan. So any kind of synchronicity or an incident or an accident, this wasn't premeditated, that would be a coincidence.
All right, I got one. And I'll turn it over to panel after this, however they want. Um, I once got a call that I needed to take my wife to a hospital that's several counties away. I get her in the car, take her out there. We weren't married at this point. This is very early in our relationship. I drove her like 4.5 hours to go be with her family while some family stuff was happening. And they're like, okay, well, we'll bring her home. And so I'm stuck over here in another state, going to drive home. I go get gas. And when I come out of the store, there's a guy standing next to the road and he's holding out a map of Georgia. And I saw the map of Georgia. I walked over. Was like, "Where are you headed?" He pointed at a town about 20 minutes from my house. And I said, "Get in." He's like, "How far can you take me?" I said, "There." And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, then stay here." And I went and got in the car, after a little bit of warbling around. All right. So he had woke up this morning to a call that his mother had had a heart attack. He had walked into a Dunkin' Donuts, gotten the phone call and said, like, "Oh crap, my mom's sick." And the guy next to him was like, "Where's she at?" And he's like, "She's in Georgia." He's like, "I'm on my way to the South Carolina line." He was in New York like 12 hours before that. He was just turned, looked at the guy next to him, told him what had happened, and that guy brought him to where he got out of the truck and got into my car 5 minutes later, and I took him to the hospital his mama was at. Coincidence? I believe that man had a reason to be there.
I mean,
And this is the point, is that for whatever reason, that event sticks out in your life and has meaning beyond all the other interactions you've had that potentially don't. So does
Yeah,
that
but I
necessarily
guess the
mean that
question
the
is, did you-
same, does it necessarily mean that the same reason and meaning isn't behind those events? Not necessarily, but that would be why I say yes and no, right? Because it's all connected, but certain events are more purpose driven and meaning based, it would seem, at least prominent to our experience, right? It's like you'll never forget that, and it just seems too much of a coincidence to be anything other than order.
But I think the answer is actually a bit simpler than that. I believe in coincidence, and that I will never understand whatever higher power is taking action in this universe. And
Yeah,
since
I
I
accept
will
that.
never understand it, it might as well be coincidence for my perception.
Yeah, nor do we ever really need to understand that. It's beyond more than what's necessary. We just need to know that we're in something here and subject to something here, and then have to serve something here to be a better self here.
Serve
Right.
what?
Yeah.
Hey, what about, talk to me about this serve
Does
thing.
it matter? See, this is going to be a difficult conversation because I mean, you just pulled the cover off of a rabbit hole. And
If you do what's true and what's
I did
right,
hear-
if you do what's true and what's right and live into your highest self based on
I don't know, Jeff.
conscionability,
What
and
does the science
this guy's
say,
got
Jeff?
an
What
issue
does
with me
the science
talking,
say,
huh? He's
Jeff?
not going to let me ever finish what I'm saying. If you do these things that we all have established as a human have purpose and meaning and value and are based in principles, and you say you're serving Satan, does it really matter?
Well, I mean, isn't
I'm,
Satan
I'm a
still a higher
nihilist. I don't think
power?
any of it ultimately matters.
Right? Wouldn't Satan still be a higher power?
I'm a pragmatist, and I simply try to live
That
today
too.
better than I did yesterday, and
Pragmatic
tomorrow better
nihilist.
than I do today, if at all possible. Am I always successful? No. I try.
It's very interesting, Jeff, that you would say that you're a nihilist while then asserting earlier that you matter.
I'm also a solipsist and a existentialist. Existence
I'm a
precedes
nihilist when it,
essence.
I'm a nihilist when it serves truth, in the sense that I believe people who don't understand meaning and power and live into it don't matter.
I'm just a Jeff.
Well, you see, you're making Paul's point for him.
I kind of roll with
We
the
are
pop,
all each other.
if you know what I mean. I am me. I'm the best me I can be. All I can be.
Well, yeah, you're the best you can be at any given moment. Otherwise, you would be better
worse
than
you.
you were in that moment.
I might be a
All right,
pessimist.
gentlemen, I got to jump out. I got to start preparing, but I appreciate the interaction, sans chaos and screaming and yelling. It was rather shocking almost in the
Well,
juxtaposition.
There's more
It's-
where that came from. Keep coming
I'm
back.
so not
You
used to
going
it.
live
I'll
later?
come back.
You want some
Yeah.
conversation?
I'm going on later. I go on every day, man. You know that. I got a job to do here.
I'll hook you up, brother.
I'm gonna
Right.
do everything
Take
you're
care,
not
Paul.
gonna do. I'm gonna scream, yell, curse, do chaos, interact with insane people. All right, I'm out of here.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That sounds like
Have
a
Peace out,
party.
brother.
Hank, did
fuck.
you get your question answered?
What was my question?
I don't know,
Hank
something
forgot
about
the question.
Sasquatch and coincidence. And then Linux, too. You were installing Linux.
No, he came in to answer a question. He wanted to answer the question to coincidence. Does coincidence exist?
I mean, it's just our way of describing an event. The
Okay,
events happen, and then however we narrate them to ourselves, we use the
but
concept of
this
coincidence. But it
this
has no existence outside of human language.
this gives me a good baseline by which how you will judge normal and extraordinary circumstances in our future. Whether you will view it as a purpose driven existence driven by some sky daddy up in a cloud somewhere, or you will view it as more or less what we're doing at the moment, fun or whatever, it sort of kind of goes to work ethic, but not really.
Uh-oh. Speaking of coincidence,
There's two of me up here.
I
What the
know.
fuck?
What a coincidence. We have two
Not,
people with the same name, same font, and same avatar.
not the fucking one without me on. That might be a porn bomber.
This,
Knock him off,
this
Jeff. Knock him off. The one with the camera is me. Okay. Okay. What the fuck? That's weird. The fuck, man. All right. Anyways, hey, you want to hear the most annoying commercial ever that was ever created for a car dealership? Play
please, dear
that.
God, no.
Are
They're
you
no
going to
longer.
imitate it or play it? As long as there's not copyright shit
He
in it.
dropped it
They're no
backstage.
longer open. They are no longer open. They got closed for poor practices.
Does Head
All
On
right.
have a car dealership? But
Is
has.
it in Maine? Yeah, it's
Well, it used to be.
Bangor.
It
Okay,
used
here
to
it
be.
is.
It isn't anymore. It's not anymore. But this is the most annoying commercial ever.
Welcome to the new #1 dealership, Bumper to Bumper.
They don't talk like you at
Starring
all.
the party guy, Glenn. His quirky sidekicks, the fabulous
They look
finance
fun.
team, the
I would work
Your
there.
Approved sales staff, a gang of
Steve.
fix-anything mechanics, and a lineup of over 200 quality vehicles. Tune in next
See a
time
problem.
when the party guy says...
It makes me want to work there.
There you go.
It
That's
sold
exactly the
me.
problem.
Yeah, but that guy, dude, you would hear
No.
that commercial on.
Bro, did you see the problem with those cars though?
I
Yes.
didn't even notice the cars. I was looking at the people having fun.
On with the cars.
She did her little hair flip.
Where do I start? Oh my. I don't know where to start really.
Specifically, all of the gas doors were open on all of the cars. That's not a lot. That's a salvage lot. That's somewhere they put cars for a little while before they crush them. These people were involved in nefarious practices. That commercial proves it.
Yeah.
Well, they're having fun being wicked.
Okay,
Or they
I
look
guess
like
that's
they are.
something.
It could be a hostage video, but it was a good one. I'm ready to go put in my application.
They closed down 18 years ago, bro. Don't know what to tell you.
I'm trying another car lot. That's shady.
They have them here.
Dude, I got a car lot
If
story.
McDonald's doesn't hire me, I might try the shady car lot next.
Go for a shady car lot. You might do well. You never know. The truck that I'm driving now, the Xterra that I drive, was on Facebook Marketplace in some lady's backyard in South Carolina, and I backtraced her contact, her phone, back to her Facebook account, to an email address so that I could talk to her. She didn't respond anywhere. I just kept banging at it until I finally got a response out of her. And she told me that it was her son's truck. He's in jail, and she's not selling it till he gets out. So I sat back, was like, "Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time." Sat back, thought about it for a second. I called the very nearest car lot I could find that didn't actually have a national registry. I told that man I'd give him $3,000 for that truck if he could drive it to his car lot. And I'll give him more if I can drive it home. And so he put it together just enough to get it home. I gave him $4,000. We drove it home, and I've been having a hell of a time with it. I love that thing. It's great.
Yeah,
Now,
Bengals out there, they were fucking bums. They
Well,
fucking
it was-
said he got busted for all kinds of shit.
Oh, so they
That's
were
another thing.
shady.
Yeah, they were
Oh
shady.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why did she have it on Marketplace if she wasn't ready to sell
She
it?
didn't do it. Her son had told like his cousin was like, "Hey, go get a picture of that thing and put it up. Put some money in my commissary." And he wasn't talking to his mama at the time, and so they just weren't communicating. And so what ended up happening, and this took a minute to get out of the sales guy. I was like, "You're the guy I talked to on the phone." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What went down about all that?" He's like, "I had to call the man at the prison, put $20 on his book so that he could call his mama to tell her to sell the car. And I did that while I was standing in front of her in her front yard." And I was like, "Man, good man."
I don't know. Maybe car
How
sales are not
long?
in my future.
The down there titles, like how long? How old do they have to be before you don't need a title?
Oh, you need a
Like
title.
25 years?
Oh, you always need a title in this country.
Well, I
No,
mean,
no. State of
not
Maine.
everywhere.
Anything after anything, I
You
think
can sell
95 or older, you don't need one.
You
I
can
believe.
sell with a bill of sale, but you generally can't insure it until you have a title
Nope.
on it.
Nope. You do not need one in the state of Maine if it's
I'm
under
not
a
talking about
certain
in
age.
Maine. I'm talking about here.
Oh,
We
oh.
when we
Sorry.
register
You were
a
saying in
vehicle.
this country. So I thought you were going on with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
because a
no,
lot of people do that. They'll buy like older cars, just like you can register them as an antique if they're over 25 years too. So a lot
well,
of
yeah.
people do that. Too.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. A lot of people will steal cars and then get like over a certain age for that very reason, and then they utilize the state uh, driver services to get a new title out of Maine or Connecticut. Either one of these is fine. And when you get that new title, that's your car. You own
Yeah,
it.
but if they reported it stolen and they showed the put the VIN in the system, it'll pop up stolen, then you're fucked anyways. Because there was a case where all
I
right,
hear
so
you.
in 73 or 74, this woman had a one of the Mustang Mark Ones, what right, or Mark Threes or whatever the fuck they are, right? She had it. It got stolen. They took it to Connecticut. This car was down in Connecticut for years and years and years, I guess, right? It got stolen out of Connecticut. Uh, Turn around. They wind up finding it in, I believe, Tennessee. Well, they wind up sending it back here to Maine because that was the original owner of the car. So even though the person that had bought it and had it stolen the second time, even though they had technically bought it legally
All
in
right.
Connecticut.
Let's try this again because I
Oh yeah.
think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying when I say they stole it. These people were responsible for doing things like cleaning out city abandoned houses and stuff, and sometimes there'd be cars out there, and sometimes those cars were just a spark plug or two away from running, and sometimes the cars are fairly valuable. The occupant had died, the place had been abandoned for 5 freaking years, and the city was now basically just doing a cleanup. The car's not technically stolen, but it's not technically owned either, right? So when you go to try to get a title, you can't get a title because you can't get the dead person to sign the car, and nobody has probated any of the stuff. But the city still has to clean that up because not only is it an eyesore, it's a danger to fire,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So the way you get around that, and it's not technically legal, but through some kind of chicanery, you send the information in through Connecticut, they file it, you register it there with like a yard ornament or some shit. I don't know how that works exactly, but after 30 days, you receive a title in the mail, and it's a byproduct of the system, not an actual point to the system. You're not supposed to be able to do this, you know. But
That's true.
it's one of the ways that you could get around what's called a stalled auto title, where the person who owns it is comatose and the place where it's at is no longer tenable, and the person that has it now has technical ownership, hasn't decided to actually execute, and since they haven't executed, you can't move the vehicle because that would be theft technically.
Is that vary by state? It's determined at the
Mhm,
local level.
mhm. Yep, it's very state driven. So that's one of the reasons why in like Connecticut and Maine, a couple of other states, you can do that kind of thing. But in Georgia, you can't, because basically I have to have all the information to register the vehicle in the vehicle when I move the vehicle, and provided I have valid insurance, the vehicle will be insured when I move it, but only for like the first move. Like I can't go drive this damn thing around and stuff. I can take it home, and that's it.
Yeah, see down there when they run your license plate, it comes back whether or not you have insurance or not, right?
It comes back whether or not you ate grape nuts for breakfast, bro. It comes back with some information.
Who eats
Like,
grape
Yeah,
nuts?
yeah. See, they don't do that shit.
That
I
is
used to
useful
when I was a
information.
kid.
I would want to know.
But no, they see up here. It's not even like that. Like if you don't have your insurance, they just give you. Some cops will let you call call your company and have them send you a proof or whatever. If you don't have it, some cops will just give you failure to provide proof of insurance type shit. But yet you need to provide proof of insurance when you register the vehicle. So I always just figured, why couldn't they just take the extra step and put it in the system that yes, there is valid insurance. But that's not how it works, unfortunately.
yeah,
I,
pretty much in Georgia, you get so much information from the license plate. If they pull you over, you've already gone beyond a point of probable cause, right? You get what I'm saying? Because they didn't pull you over because your license plate was wrong. You know what I mean? They pulled you over for some reason that they know about you, and they're going to check. They're very invasive here, bro.
Oh yeah, so you guys got license plate readers and everything.
it was a
As far as
prison
I know,
colony.
we don't have nothing like that. At least up here.
Screw you, Jeff.
Well, that's just a historical fact. That's,
What you saying?
What?
We all criminals just because we damn
no,
right. Be careful. We
I'm
can
not
go.
even making a connection.
Come on, man. That was definitely a connection.
You can infer what you want.
Like
I
they have.
remember in Louisiana, I sold an old car I was driving. It broke down. I sold it for parts. And I didn't know I was supposed to take the license plate off. So I left the license plate on it. And I moved to California shortly after. And Louisiana tracked me down and wanted the license plate. And I said, well, I'm in California. And I sold it to a junkyard. And they said, well, until we get the license plate back, that in Louisiana, that's what deregisters it from your name. So until you turn on your plates, that car is permanently in your name until they get the license plate. And so for the rest
Oh,
of my
see, that's
life,
not. See,
this
That's
that's
why.
car
kind
was
of
in my
weird.
name. I thank God it was just sold for parts, because if anybody had used it or tried to do anything with it, my name was the one it was registered under. Because I had no
Yeah,
ability
see,
to return the plates from California.
you didn't have to do that here, but I can remember when I was a kid, my dad. It was blueberry season, and there was some people from out of state. They bought this car my dad had for sale. They only was like a month left on the plates, so my dad's like, "All right, here's the bill, sale. Here's all that. You can just use my plates till they run out." I don't know why the fuck he did it, whatever. But anyways, the car broke down in like South Carolina, Georgia, somewhere like that. My dad, like a month later, gets a phone call from the state police or highway patrol, whatever,
Yeah.
saying that they found his car on the side of the road. Dad goes, "That ain't my fucking car." And they go, "Well, your license plate was on it."
Yeah. In
My
Louisiana, it's
dad's a
tied to the
fucking
license
idiot.
plate, not any
Yeah.
kind of paperwork.
Not
You have
vehicle.
to physically turn in the plate, and that is what officially takes the car out of your name.
Papers, please.
It rains in Georgia.
Dude, it rains in Georgia 3 times a day. If you don't like the weather, give it a fickin' minute.
But it's that southern rain. It's like
Oh,
you'll have
yes,
real rain.
Southern rain, dude. You got mushrooms on my eyeballs, and it's smelling like,
Right in your
it's,
beard,
it's
too.
hot. It's fucking humid. It's cold. It's humid. It gets so moist in the mornings that the trees will literally
Moist.
coat in ice.
He
Think
just
about
had about at least 3 people squirm in their seat for using the word moist.
moist.
Guaranteed. I fucking always hated people that be like,
There's,
ew, don't use that word. I'm like,
no,
what
no.
word?
There's no
Moist?
other
What's wrong with
description.
moist?
There's no other description that suits it. I swear to God. If you understood the climate here, we are in a cloud forest where I live. When you wake up in the morning, you can't see 35 yards. It's like those British mornings you hear about where it's fog is as thick as pea soup, but it's a cloud. It's a freaking cloud blowing up off the Atlantic or off the Gulf, one or the other. And so, yeah, it's not wet because wet stopped being wet like 5 hours ago. We are now soaked part of moist. Like,
Oh, yeah, I get
even if
you.
we
I
dry
live in the
out,
foggiest place on earth, buddy. I get you. Trust me.
even if it dries out this afternoon, it won't be dry by tomorrow morning when it becomes moist again.
Exactly. At that point, it's fucking permanently fucking damp. It goes from being moist to damp.
I've
And
got
then
a
from damp to
ringworm that has
soggy.
a kitchen has been complaining for 6 months. It's moist.
Oh.
It's moist. That is a joke, bro. Calm down. I'm just saying it's very, 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 very sweaty around this joint because I'm in Georgia. We're in a swamp.
Yeah, the whole South is kind of like that.
Where the fuck did Hank disappear to? Where did Mr.
He's
McCoy
putting in
go?
his Linux.
Oh. So he had to come up on panel just to not talk to install
No,
Linux.
he can hang out. It's part
I
of.
see how it is. We must be
Sometimes
the
people
black
come
sheep of the
just to
community.
have the illusion of being with other people.
Did I say zebra in a dunk tank?
Where?
Uh,
On
snafu, probably.
on his freaking
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So,
does. Yeah, and it is making fun of Snafu. Absolutely.
oh
He doesn't
okay.
like this. He doesn't like the cyclone.
what does the cyclone represent? You?
No, he thinks it is the universal pedo
Oh
symbol
my
from
God!
space.
He thinks everything is the universal.
He is
Exactly.
he is an example of someone who does not believe in coincidence.
Yes, that's correct.
Here we have a request for a hat wobble.
Denied.
Denied. There you go. No super chat
What
was
if I
attached.
request a hat wobble? Can I have a hat wobble?
Denied.
Denied.
Oh.
No hat wobbles
Please, sir.
today.
Please, sir. I'd like some more, sir. Please, sir.
Please, sir, may I have some more? More? More?
Oh, fuck.
Well, Leggy, you off today, or did you work? No, you said you were off. What do you have going on the rest of the day? Are you going shopping?
Am I
It's
going?
Black Friday.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm all set.
Hank, are you doing anything
And,
for
you
Black
look, I've only
Friday?
gone Black Friday shopping like twice in my life.
Don't they have a digital version of it now? I think Steam runs game sales. Let me look.
I don't buy from Steam.
So what did we do for our thankful feast? Did
Not
you
a
do your
fucking
turkey?
Hank had a spread.
But
Leggy
Jet,
didn't eat anything.
you said you were going to bake a turkey. Did you bake your turkey?
Who, us?
You
No,
them.
my roommate was going to. No, he postponed it till next week because he went to his parents for Thanksgiving. They had already
Okay.
had plenty of food, so we're gonna try it next week. I'm the moral support, and he's
Yeah,
the
it'll work
attempted
fine.
chef.
So
But he's gonna look for that butter. He said his friends
yeah.
were recommending the same thing.
Here's what I did. I went to the store and I was mucking around in there, and I happened to notice this really small butterball job that had no wings and no legs on it. And I went, that sucker will fit in my rotisserie. I bet it will.
Ooh.
And if it don't, I can bake it anyway, right? So I get home and I just have to cut a little bit off one spot and another spot for it to sit in the rotisserie just fine. So I got some of that Creole butter and I juged that sucker up like the worst junkie ever, bro. I put a whole bottle off in that thing. I stuck it in there, let it roll for about 25 miles, and that shit is delicious. So juicy and moist because it never drips down. It keeps rolling. It bastes itself as it goes along.
Does it come with the syringe, or you buy that
The
separate?
the little butter thing the bottle comes with a syringe. Yes,
Okay, so all you need is the bottle. You just buy the bottle.
it's in a little shrink wrap thing, bottle and syringe.
Okay.
I find if you've got a triple shot glass, that's probably the best thing to fill up the syringe with.
I think we have one. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
And I learned that when I was a child, and my pops used to drink a lot.
It's good.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
was,
strongly advise food is good stuff.
Well, I'll let you know how it turns out. It's his first turkey too. So.
I'll tell you another thing I did. I made some deviled eggs. Just straight up from scratch. I've done that in a while. And homemade mashed potatoes. I kind of laid out a
Oh,
little bit of a
with
spread
the
there.
skins.
Yeah, with the skins. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the way.
And I
to
do that. When I do that, I use fairly small potatoes when I cut them up.
it. Do
So
you use the
whenever
red or the brown?
the golden ones,
Oh, okay.
right? The little bright yellow ones that you
Yeah.
can find. Those things are so fucking
yeah,
good.
Yukon Gold.
Yeah.
I prefer the russet, which is the brown.
How do you season them?
Basically, a little bit of salt, some pepper, a bit of mayonnaise, and a bit of sour cream for flow. And
Oh, sour cream. I
I
never
it
thought of that.
it has it's some chops. There is some chives when you start mixing, and by the time you finish mixing, you can't see a single chive in there, and it has the very lightest of onion flavor.
Yeah, I use salt, pepper, and parsley, and the oil. I use corn oil.
I use corn oil. I'm allergic to soy. That is not a joke. I'm dead serious. I have a legume allergy. I'm allergic to all beans.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't know either until I was about 20. Till I moved out of my parents' house and was able to cook for myself. As someone else pointed out to me, it was like, man, you never have any beans in this house. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really like beans. Like, why not? I don't know.
what happens to you?
Basically, it's kind of like eating poison ivy, sort of.
Oh, so it's skin, like
It's
on your skin.
It's well, yeah. If I take my hands and dip them into soybeans, and I have done this, I will end up in the hospital with my hands inflated. Even if I wash them, it's something to do with the oil. If I get soy oil directly on my skin, and even if I wash it, the little splash where it hit will blister up like
Oh my
poison
God.
ivy. And as a child, I grew up eating peanuts and freaking butter beans and lima beans and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I was always a really bloated, sickly, crap in my pants and barfing randomly my whole freaking life, dude. It was just random
Like
as
a
hell.
garbage pail kid.
That is a crappy weakness. I tell you
It was
what.
terrible. It was terrible. And like I said, by the time I turned 20 and I was able to move out and start like not eating what my parents were cooking, I just subconsciously subtracted the thing that made me feel bad without really. The only thing I couldn't put down until I was actually tested and realized I was allergic to legumes was peanut butter. To
Oh,
this day, I wake up in the morning and crave peanut butter on toast.
The roach legs and rat hairs did it for me. So do you have to read? You have to read ingredients and make sure there's
Yeah,
no
That's why.
soybean
That's why
oil.
I cook. That is the reason why I cook, is because I don't really think it's anyone else's responsibility to know what I can and cannot eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dog's having a sale. I may buy all Heroes of Might and Magic 1 through 5 for less
What
than
is it?
$20. Heroes of Might and Magic, the whole series, 1 through 5. It goes 7, but
That's a
First
game or
thoughts.
some books?
It's a game.
Oh,
It's a
is it
multiple
fun?
games. And it got high ratings, all over 4 stars, all over 4 stars.
What's the weirdest thing you ever got paid to do that's legal?
I scalped tickets in Vegas. That was
I
fun.
said legal, brother. Is that legal?
Well, it was. I mean, it was legal. I call it scalping. It was this tour company, and they put
Uh,
the tickets in the packages for the whoever they were selling to. But you had when you buying them, you couldn't tell them that's what it was for. So you
right,
had to pretend to be buying them for yourself.
right. Well,
So I
it's
spent all day on the strip, going from casino to casino, pretending to buy these tickets, and then I turn them in at the end of the day to this company, and they pay me.
right. That's illegal, sir. But anyway, the
It was
weirdest thing
Vegas.
legal. Okay, it's like I said. I'll give that one a gray area. The weirdest thing I was ever paid to do. I worked at a window factory, and I had a guy come to the factory and talk to the guy who owned it, not the operators and none of that, none of the management. The guy who owned it walks through there with this dude, says, "This is the guy you need to talk to. Sasquatch, go with this man and do whatever he tells you to do. And until you're done, you're making $20 an hour." And I'm like, "Through your third," because he just about tripled my freaking pay right there. I was like, "Fuck yeah, how high, sir?" So we get over there, and what homie wants is a 3-inch thick picture window that is also an aquarium.
Oh my!
And I was like, that's a lot of stresses, brother. You're not just talking about the stresses of the water inside, but also the stresses of the wind on the outside versus the temperature differential on the inside. He's like, "Are you saying it can't be done?" "Oh, no, sir. I'm saying this is going to be really, really expensive, but we can do it." And he's like, "I don't care what it costs. That's what I want." I said, "All right." 30.
Did you pull it off?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The hardest part was figuring out how to clean the algae on the inside and to access for feeding and whatnot, right? The rest of the stuff you could mount from outside and use bulkhead fittings to get through to the inside. So
Okay.
what was really challenging was getting the two meeting rails, no, the two jams together with a watertight fit. That was difficult because that took me about 2 months of testing all kinds of methods of attaching two windows together, because the 3-inch thickness, almost all windows have like a 3/8 of an inch thick space in between them. They're too small for anything. He wanted like 3 inches.
And
Well,
that's where he was going to put the fish?
Yeah, it was inside the window. That's what he wanted. He wanted to do a tropical fish tank in his freaking window.
That doesn't seem like a lot of room for the fish
But
to move around.
the 3 inches, he did like the little guppy fishes.
Did he
all
have like
Ghost shrimp.
decorations in there, plants and
Yeah.
wow.
That was one of the other hardest parts. We had to mount all of the things that would be inside to the jams in 4 pieces, so that no one jam would be holding too much weight in any particular direction. And so I basically went to a CAD program and designed all of the stuff, and then used hot glue to stick all of the plants. And then we assembled the damn thing. I had to go there and build it on site. And the dudes that were building that window, they called me, what did that man call me? Dr. Moreau or, yeah, no, he said, "You're the mad scientist, huh? You must be the Frankenstein." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Somebody has delivered an absolute monster to my freaking build site, and I don't like it." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?" He's like, "What the hell is that?" I said, "Those are 2 sheets of tempered high tensile glass. They're almost bulletproof." He's like, "Okay, what are those things?" "Those are the jams to my window." He's like, "I've never seen a window like this, and you might not ever see another window like this." I went back by there about 3 years later, and homie has hired some dude, some little Japanese fellow, to tend the grasses and stuff in it. But like I said, the hardest part was figuring out how to keep all the algae off the window. And we ended up using a couple of different magnetic doohickeys that you just scrape along.
How much did they end up paying?
I don't know. They wouldn't let me see the final price, but if I had to guess, 140 some odd $1,000 for a single window.
Wow.
But that would also count the fish, because I don't know exactly what they paid for the fish and the plants. That wasn't even anywhere on any of my invoices.
Dang.
Mine was
You
just
must have sold the
hardware.
fish to
I don't
reduce the
know.
price.
Maybe I could sell windows.
There's an interesting aspect to selling or building windows. At least you're making something people see the world through. You should probably do it
Oh,
right.
nice.
You should probably do it right. You know.
Yeah. So, yeah. What's the weirdest thing I did? I think
Legal.
Legal. Yes.
In
Yeah.
fact, I'm gonna look on Indeed and see what sales jobs are around.
Yeah. I think I backed up some guy's gay porn thing. That's completely legal.
Okay.
Hank, what is GOG? Is that like a Steam alternative?
Yeah. It's a game store.
And it's just like Steam, you play it directly through the platform itself? Or you have to have some console?
It's you just run on a Windows computer.
Like
Or
through
why?
through a browser or through an app?
The game is the app. You just download and run it.
Oh, okay.
It's got its own emulator built in on most cases when you're dealing with on-site or
Because the prices are...
off-site purchases for on-site games. It's like running a DOS file, but they've got it automated.
Yes, exactly. Most older games run DOSBox, so you just run them. I think
They have some pretty good prices.
Yes.
I wouldn't know where to begin, what games to get.
Yeah, no, I haven't played a decent freaking game. I don't know. Minecraft probably would be the game I've put the most effort into. I've made 2 attempts to go kill the Ender Dragon by myself, and I just keep getting wiped. Keep falling. I keep falling. That's what it comes down to. I keep falling.
Well, if you're falling, I know I shouldn't even
No,
attempt
I'm
it.
stupid. I forget to do things. Like you're supposed to build yourself a little safe spot up there to go stand where you can't be knocked off. And anyway, I forget to do some aspect of something every single time and don't realize it until my ass is eating gravel. Discovering kinetic energy.
Right, exactly that. Or you can use the CAD program to design what you should hide in.
Speaking of games, not laws, are y'all still playing around in the submarine?
What? Was it a
Barrel
yellow
trauma? I
submarine?
know Moose was talking about starting a campaign, but y'all had a bunch of trolls y'all were dealing with, including Moose himself, apparently.
What's up with the submarine, bro? Like, I don't get it.
I don't. You're in a submarine. You have to do all these missions, and creatures attack you. But then the trolls come in because you play on there's public servers, so anybody random person can come play, and they start sabotaging the sub and fucking with people and damaging the experience for everybody. It's just like the Panelverse, but the video game version.
If we know who's supposed to come in, just use a password to protect the game.
Yeah, I don't know
I
how
think
to do
part
that. I
of the-
wish they had a password for YouTube channels.
Well, you
Very
can. Well, since you're the host, you say, yeah, you can do that. Basically, you have to use their to send a link directly to the people you want on there.
Well, they do have members-only streams, which I could do for membership tiers, but the trolls could still buy memberships, and they could still stream the content publicly.
Well, what you do is just don't use YouTube to stream to hide it from those people.
But anywhere you go, they'll find you, bro.
Yeah.
They lurk more than Sasquatch does.
Oh, you lurk. I try to make it as boring as possible from them, so they'll go away
Yeah,
and
that
find a
works.
more exciting channel.
Yeah, that usually works.
Yeah,
And
we keep it real nerdy here.
Unless they show up and are clever. See,
They're
I have an
not.
issue with people that want to say that they don't like clever.
I
When you
haven't
say,
met a clever troll on here yet.
have you not?
Or maybe I wouldn't. Maybe they're so clever I wouldn't even know.
yeah,
Perhaps
maybe.
you're
I don't
intrigued
know.
by them.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually I ask Sasquatch.
I mean, everybody's got a slice of irony in them, don't they?
Oh yeah, I have a
So,
whole like pizza store full of irony.
wouldn't you, pizza
Every-
store, all
Every
the slices.
slice, shape, and size of slice you want.
You got one of the big square pizza
It's a
slices.
yeah, it's a dot. We even deliver.
We deliver irony. Awesome. That's wonderful. I'm just saying, each one of us is someone's troll. There's someone out there we just cannot resist poking at.
I guess for me that would be not Laz. He provokes. I don't feel like I'm poking at him. I feel like he's calling the poking to himself, and I'm just the passive deliverer of it.
Not Laws, I think, is a much more interesting character than most people realize. I sat and read stuff that he typed for the longest time before I ever directly interacted with him because I thought he was just a bot. I'll be honest, he was so on point with all of these weirdo freaking. He was so on point with all of every freaking bit of it that I was just like, he's a bot. He's not even a real thing because his chats would come in like every 3 minutes exactly or something, you know.
Well, that kind of ignorance is hard to fake.
And I was like, okay. And then one day, I can't remember exactly what it was that I said, but it was something like, oh, no, that man is far too left wing to actually be left wing. I wouldn't be surprised if he was slightly right of Genghis Khan and believe everybody should do what he wants them to do. But if we're not going to do that shit, let's get this voting shit worked out.
Yeah, he's the only leftist I know that spends every hour of his day on hanging out with people on the right, like Nazis and.
Well, I mean, isn't that what a bot would do? Isn't that where they'd put the bot?
Or a troll.
Well,
Yeah.
If he's a troll, what is he gaining from
like, where's all his leftist friends? Why are you here, Notlas? Where are all your lefty friends?
Yeah, where's your libtard posse?
No, y'all are all off base. They don't have friends. They have allies.
Oh, so he's here for this is where the real friendship is.
This is the front line of reality as far as the hard progressive left is there. The issue is that he goes so hard in the paint left wing that it's hard to take him serious. Like, it's ironic how hard he goes.
I stopped paying attention to him.
Yeah, most people do. And I don't know why I kept reading it. I did.
I'm still thinking about what you said about everybody has that impulse to troll.
Oh, but there's somebody that you just like poking with a stick. It's like the dead squirrel in the freaking gutter out there on the way to the bus stop. Just
ooh, I don't know. I never poked.
Stick, poke it.
I never poked any squirrels
Just
growing
saying,
up. I usually
dude,
stayed away from dead animals. But
it's the same impetus that makes you look when you're going by an accident.
So, do you think it's unreasonable to expect people to not do that on here? Like, just because they have the impulse to troll, that doesn't mean I have to give them a platform or opportunity to do it.
This might hurt your brain a little bit. I don't blame them for trolling. I kind of understand why they do. And for that reason, I don't blame them for trolling. I blame you for responding.
Well, I have to do something. I can't let it add a bunch of noise to my channel.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Hold on. The most important thing I ever learned to do was nothing. It is the singular most powerful action I've ever discovered in my life.
Yeah, that's not going to meet my goals for this channel. I can't just let people come on here and indiscriminately troll and hijack my content with their trolling.
You certainly can't. But that doesn't mean that you give them the opportunity to. Once you know what they're about, you snuff them out like a cigarette you're finished smoking, and move on with your life as though they never existed. But you also never give them the least bit of energy from anything you ever do in the future. Never say their name. Never. Don't even whisper that shit in the dark under your bed at night during a storm.
There's another path. So you could just pretend no trolls exist, but take them completely seriously, and that would totally annoy them. That totally annoys
I
them.
like
because they won't get to the point.
Sasquatches is the brutal way to do it, but probably the
It
most
is.
effective because that's the way I apply to most people. So I feel inconsistent making making an exception for some people. So if I'm going to be brutal, I'm going to have to be all the way brutal with everybody consistently.
Hey, Lou, welcome in, girl. Um,
And one out of one,
it's
Lou agrees.
Well, there's two things that this does. This not only removes the impetus and energy from a exchange because it's no longer an exchange, right? It also reveals the opposition, whatever individual this is that's doing this, as being completely unhinged. Because when you haven't uttered a single phrase about them in 3 weeks and they're still down there in your chat banging away, you don't have to explain to people that he's insane. You can just move on with your life. They will figure it.
It's easy to do with chatters. They get banned all the time. It's panelists that troll each other that have established a relationship over time.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, brutality. I advise brutality.
But they're bringing it on themselves. There's plenty of people that are not doing that. So
the difference is you are having a reaction. The difference is your reaction is to deprive them of momentum and power, rather than giving them momentum and power by responding in kind. You cannot rationalize with someone who is irrational, so remove them from the conversation. This is your house. You're the gatekeeper.
Yeah, that's the conclusion I've come to. The golden goose committed suicide. I wasn't out to kill any kind of goose. They flew right into the fan.
I went to the grocery store hoping to pick me up a duck today, and I could not find a duck.
Oh. I didn't even know they sold ducks.
Yeah.
I thought you had to shoot them out of the sky.
No, I got one last year. I don't like working with duck. It's annoying.
Quack.
It was too big to fit in my Instant Pot. I take my circular saw, try to cut it, and it didn't taste all that good afterwards compared to chicken or turkey.
Well,
do you know your duck calls? I guess you don't need that to just buy a duck.
No, you don't need that to buy a duck.
What kind of duck do you want, sir? The one that sounds like this. See, I can't call.
I can't do it with my mouth. But
oh, no, that wouldn't bring anything. I'm scared what that would bring. My brothers can duck call. I never learned it. I can't even whistle.
My pops was a duck hunter. I was more of a duck dog.
Forget it. Not going to embarrass myself any further. They call them ducks. Actually, I'll probably lose my channel if I tell you what they call some of the ducks. There was a whole Real World episode on it when they went to Real World New Orleans, and they went on this swamp tour, and the tour guide was pointing out the different animals, and he called them the only word I know for these particular ducks, or geese, actually, and it caused a whole bunch of drama, and yeah, the woke were not happy. It's just Latin for black, really. But that's...
Yeah.
I know what word is you. Yeah, I know what word.
I know,
that's the only... I don't know any other name for them. That's what they were called growing up.
Well, let's call them black.
Yeah,
that works.
Black geese. Double-crested cormorant, I guess is what they're called.
Wow, cormorant. So I hear ducks are extremely greasy. So I figure a rotisserie would be a good way to go about dealing with that.
I'll
Yeah,
take your
they
word
are.
for it.
There are. They are.
I've had duck before, but I was a small child. I was very young, and I didn't really realize what it was I was eating, and it was so different from what I was used to that I didn't like it. And then there were all the shotgun pellets that made it a bit of an issue. I cracked a tooth on one and never ate duck again. But I got to thinking after cooking that turkey and seeing how it cooked, that if a duck is greasier and you can render that fat from the outside in like that, it should all drip into the dripping pan just as clean as a whistle, bro.
There's probably YouTube videos on it.
There are. I've checked out a couple of YouTube videos with it, and I'm thinking that I might not have had a duck properly cooked because the duck I ate was cooked in a pan full of grease, which was
That's how they cooked them growing up.
sure,
They
and it's the easy
just
way.
like you do a roast chicken.
But I own a rotisserie, sir.
Try it. Put it in
I
there.
damn sure am. If I could figure out where I saw the ducks, I seen them. That's what made me start thinking about it. I seen a duck in one of the freezers at one of the grocery stores I go to, and obviously it wasn't the one I went to today, unless the empty freezer.
Oh, so you have to remember how many grocery stores do you go to?
three.
Try Walmart.
Oh, well, you
Try Walmart.
two left to try.
Avoid Walmart.
You
Walmart,
could call them too, or maybe even look on their website.
usually I just call somebody that works there.
Oh,
Yeah, that
That's
works.
small town.
y'all got ducks. Y'all got you. Well, y'all got
Yeah,
your ducks.
I need some ducks. I'm planning on going a bit quackers. Oh boy. I don't know what to make of it.
Well, y'all ready to wrap up? It seems like
Yes.
might have come to an end.
Dude, this is your channel. If you were to say, does anybody have a video to watch? I'd be like, yeah, I got a whole bunch over
Well,
here.
what do you have? What kind of video? As long as they're not
Dude,
copyrighted.
I run like 4 shows, so I've constantly got the weirdest freaking shit stuck in my.
Do you have anything, or do you have stuff you're saving for your particular show, or do you have any to spare?
Well, I have like a very couple of things, very few. I don't really do a whole lot myself. I'm more of a reaction channel.
Like other panels, or just random YouTube videos that people make?
Random YouTube videos that are that have a point. Like, all right. So I'm reworking AJOT's show on Tuesdays to go to lean away from the interrogation videos that have been like every single week for the past year. We do an interrogation video or a body cam video, and I got to thinking, I'm like, okay, what we need to do is widen this out a little bit. So I want something like that. I want a video, an animal video from her, and then somebody doing something amazing, short 1-3 minute video, 5-minute video, something like that, and then we'll do some particular type of topic, and then we'll do a fucking cop watch video of some kind. Body camera video or whatever, interrogation.
Have those taken the place of Cops, the TV show that I grew
Yes.
up on?
Yes.
There is no need for them to send out a freaking entire production team with the cops when they can just FOIA the body cam and edit it however they wish. I mean, once you FOIA it, you own it. You can't, like, you can only monetize it through what's it called, fair use.
Oh, so that's how they do it. They FOIA for content, and they get them,
Dude,
and they make content out of it.
You want to make
Or
some
they
freaking
chase the cops around themselves.
No,
like
shut
Joe
up,
does.
Hank. Listen.
Hey.
You want to make some money? Go figure out wherever the weirdest crap happens and FOIA the body cams from those cases. If you can figure out how to make that happen, it's supposed to be free, but sometimes it's not, and they're shipping and there's other stuff.
How did you figure that out? Where, like,
The same website, the government websites. That's how you figure it out. They have instructions.
where are the Mexicans or the blacks? or the white trash. That's where it would happen on cops. They were
I
always
say we
filming.
would do the white trash. Let's look for the white trash. I think that would play best on YouTube. We could set up. I guarantee you, dude. We could set up a channel and have it monetized in less than a month, and I could do the voiceover of a very citizen. Me and you sit around, watch the videos, and make smart ass remarks, and then write the script based on the video of us watching it.
It seems like that shouldn't be hard to find in Georgia or up here.
Right?
Well, I'll keep my eye out for.
Just consider it.
I should. I mean,
there's more than one way to skin a cat. Is all I'm saying. You can.
That seems like animal abuse.
I know, but it's a euphemism, bro.
Okay, I'm watching this video right now, and I'm about to die laughing. Tell me that's not a dog rolling down a mountain. I'm just worried it's going to be animal abuse.
It's almost certainly, dude. Every time I put an animal,
The dog's fine. It's. They showed it walking.
the alligator was fine, and so was the horse. In fact, it wasn't even the same horse in the two different scenes, but they still hit me for a promotion of animal abuse.
This is hilarious. It's
That's
flipping like this.
I saw something funny, and I went, and they went abuse.
Oh, I better not. I won't risk it. I've taken enough risk lately.
Meanwhile, we were watching dwarf boxing last night on a live stream. So, like, I don't understand where they're going with this.
They're going to the bank.
Because isn't it in YouTube's best interest to allow people to
but not light skin.
generate as much content as they can? Like, it helps
Well,
them
actually-
brings in money for them. It helps us stay monetized.
But
Well,
if you
not
think
necessarily.
about it legitimately, hold on now. If YouTube can demonetize but keep available content, that makes them money. Because anytime that content is utilized to make further content, they gain even more money. It's all advertising space when it comes.
But
to
like with your alligator video, if they struck it, they wouldn't keep it available, right? They would.
Well, okay. So here's an interesting point. Mine got struck and taken down, but the source video that I sourced it from was left up. You can still go watch it on YouTube today.
Yeah, there's another thing you have to consider.
They called it.
All the bandwidth and storage space for those videos costs a lot of money. So
It
they
was-
necessarily want everyone to put all
They
their
got plenty
videos
of money
on
for that.
YouTube.
I'm not worried
It
about
was
that.
not what they did that was animal abuse. It was me laughing at it. That was promotion of what they claim to be animal.
Oh, so
Just because.
so if you had used it and said, "This is horrible, don't do this," people, it would have been fine.
it probably would have been fine. But instead, I asked, what level of Florida is this? No animal was harmed in the filming of that video. Everyone parted ways perfectly happy, and a couple of guys a little drunker than they were before. So the only animals harmed were the Florida guys.
What an
I thought it was
injustice.
funny. The other strike I got involved a horse being given vitamins, right? You know, like antibiotics and supplements and stuff. They put it in a powder. Usually you mix it in with some oats, right? Some horses, though, don't like it when you put it on their oats, and you can just put it in a pile and they'll just lick it up. You mix it with a little bit of salt and they'll just suck it right up. This one horse hits it and it looks for all the world like he just did a line. But what it is, he sticks his tongue out and slurps up the whole thing. And it's this really big pile of freaking medicine, right? Horse slurps that up. And then the next scene was a donkey running at 2 times speed. Homie was hauling butt, doing a power slide through a curve on a racetrack. And it made me laugh so hard I cried. And they hit me with a strike. 37 seconds after it went live, I had 12,000 views. 37 seconds, bro.
And it was the same rationale you were the fact you were laughing at it was the
I was
issue.
laughing at what was purported to be animal abuse. Because and that's the thing. And here's my problem with it. I've never given a horse medicine. I don't own a horse. I haven't touched a horse in probably 15 years.
Oh, that's good.
Those aren't my horses. So how in the world could it be associated with
But
animals?
people used to laugh at worse than that on America's Funniest Videos. They would show animals doing silly stuff all the time, and the audience would laugh. Like, how was it? Did something change?
Well, I suspect so. I don't know specifically what, and the terms of service aren't exactly clear on it. It's all vague and amorphous.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know that specifically animal abuse, or rather not animal abuse, but promotion of animal abuse was a thing. I read the animal abuse clause and I did not violate that. As I said.
So they have a separate clause for promotion?
Apparently somewhere in there that I did not notice, a promotion of illegal activity or something like that. But it was specifically named as animal abuse. And I don't abuse animals. I love my dog.
Yeah, I imagine most people don't. Oh God, that's
It put a bad.
It seems unjust to me.
It put a bad taste in my mouth for doing. I used to do 3 or 4 shorts a day, right? And I was picking up 500 or 600 subscribers a week. I mean a month, and that's pretty damn good for a little channel. You know what I'm saying? You'd lose a third of those long term, but you keep a handful of them, and every so often you get a new live stream viewer, and that's cool. But the problem is the entire life of my channel has been under some level of a strike the whole time. Like every time the strike comes down, I qualify for monetization. I kick around the idea of being monetized and having memberships and doing that thing. And then I think, but eventually I'll do something. I'll post something that to me is just funny, but to somebody else is offensive, and they'll call it on some vague, combination of features that make it definitely a violation. And I don't know, man. It's just, I don't feel very, very good tying anything to do with my finances to anything to do with YouTube directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then how do you make a living as a content creator, which so many of us are trying to do?
That's part of what I've been working on with my channel, is going through the motions of what it would take to do so and looking to find the pitfalls and things. I've got friends that, went to law school and banking and stuff like that. And so when I come across one of these weird contracts, I'm like, hey, have you ever seen one of those? And they give me a shot at like how they interpret whatever it is that's written in the contract. So I figure it's probably safest, and this is going to sound very annoying and no one's going to like this fact, but doing direct sponsorships is probably the safest form of content creation you can
McDonald's. Do. I'm working on it.
I mean, yeah, if you can find that big of a corporate backer, then fine. But I'm just saying, like, there's no reason.
But then you're kind of like,
I know
there's strings attached to all of that. They don't
all
just
of that. There's none of this money over here where there's not strings, Jeffy. There's not. I'm sorry. There's strings on all of it. The trick is to find the strings that you don't mind being pulled.
I'd rather it come from grassroots. That seems like the least.
Okay, so then you've got half the people out here calling you a grifter just because you're trying to do what you're doing and get paid. Yeah,
that's not going to stop. I mean, they can call me that. That's not going to. That's not going to stop. That's different from an actual sponsor, or if I get funding from a certain source that comes with guidelines, expectations, restrictions, all of that. Just people gossiping about me saying I'm a grifter.
Now, I do
doesn't have the same force and weight that a contract would have.
I do have a caveat to all of this. I have one sponsorship that I would accept pretty much no strings attached, that I would just be like, yep, I'm doing it. And that is for Dr. Squatch soap. I use Dr. Squatch soap and I smell fantastic.
That's a real thing?
It's a real thing.
Not you, Dr. Squatch soap. I'm looking it up.
You don't even have to. I got you covered, bro.
See, you're already... Talk to them.
This This
It
is
comes in a
a
box. That's a lot of
subscription
soap.
box. This is a subscription box. I asked my wife for some Dr. Squatch soap. She said, I'll get you some. You should click the button on the thing. And now we get half of this every like 2 months. Anyway, it's going to make great Christmas gifts. Let me tell you.
Man, this stuff it's not for the poor, I'll tell you that.
It's not for the pores. It has rapid rainforest, dude. Oh, it smells so fantastic. You have no idea. I mean, I'm that guy you
Maverick
smell
musk.
walk by. Bay rum. My wife loves this one.
Horsetail and sand, heavy grit. What the? You'd be perfect for this, though. Seriously.
Oh yes, yes. I'm built for this. Matter of fact, yes, I agree. So call me. I mean,
Yeah, you should contact if they because people I see they run those little end video ads all the time where they'll have
dude,
different
yeah,
sponsors selling these
dude,
weird
I
products
would
that nobody
totally
knows.
be willing to do an ad read for Dr. Squatch. Jack Link's jerky would be a consideration as well, but I want to take the place of the Sasquatch in the commercials.
So you have to think about what you would be the good face of the brand for. And
Sure, yeah. But like I said, even then there's strings and caveats. You have to be willing. You need to find what you are willing to.
whore yourself out for.
Basically, yes. I have some very rare and very rare historical photos.
Engineers' daily lives.
All right. We can just mute that and let that roll on the background if you like.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, I thought that was you.
nah, dude. That's some other dude from Georgia.
Oh.
Good douche.
All right, what is this?
It is rare. It's got a weird title. Rare and uncovering historical photos.
These are yours?
No, this is let's see. The name of the guy.
Oh wait, this it's not gonna be anything gross, is it?
I mean, like it's
I don't know if I want to risk it.
End results of some surgeries and whatnot. Maybe.
Oh no.
Nothing stomach turning. Nothing like that.
Not even YouTube. I personally would have a hard time looking at stuff like that.
Have you ever heard of Nathaniel Gage? I'm pretty sure his name was
It
Nathaniel.
rings a bell. I've heard of Phineas Gage.
Hold on. But did Phineas Gage have a metal rod knocked through his
head? Yeah, that was him.
Okay, Phineas Gage. I wonder who Nathaniel is. But yeah,
He's
Phineas
an educational psychologist.
Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like. Even those shows on the Discovery Channel that used to show live surgeries and operations, I could not look at those.
How about pimple
I can't
popping?
watch horror movies. I can't watch anything gory.
No pimple popping for you?
No who?
Pimple popping.
No. No. An indoor roller rink.
What?
What are they have other types that are not indoors? All the ones we had growing up were indoors.
All the ones we had were sticky.
They were. The skates were, for sure.
Everything was sticky, dude. I hated that place. I don't know what on earth was going on backstage at that place, but I never saw enough drinks get poured for it to be as sticky as it was. It always bothered me.
Well, now you have the opportunity to change all of that if you run one.
Hard pass.
Or at least sponsor one. But yeah, you have some good. You have me thinking. Maybe I'll start thinking about who I'd make a good sponsor for, and then contact them.
Yeah, I mean, what do you actually support in your life?
I don't know. Maybe there's some gay company or autistic, a rocking chair company, maybe, or antlers.
A rocking chair company would be fucking perfect, dude. You can figure that out and get paid to do it. You're the man for that. We'll just get you one in there and you can rock your way right to freaking riches.
I wanted to test rocking chairs and recliner growing up. If that was a job, like where you rock all day and stress test the recliners that they make. But I figured that maybe they have machines to do that.
Hot as fucking here.
Yeah, especially the dollar theaters. I used to work in one. We'd have to clean it afterwards. I saw all the stuff people left behind. Oh. All right. Well, I guess I'll wind up for today. And Joe and I are supposed to do our Nexus thing tomorrow, but I think I don't know, I'll talk to him. We may take a day off. If you don't see us out tomorrow, that's what that means. I'm definitely taking the weekend off for my personal stream, but I'll be back Monday with a update on my job search class. They're going to try to polish me up, which means whiten me up.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just closing out.
Okay, it's been fun. It's been real. It's been real.
It's been helpful. I get a lot of our conversations, so I appreciate it.
Much love, brother. Don't let the man get you down.
Oh, they don't. If I could find one. All right, let me see if I can find a stream to send you to. OTW is still going. Here, go to Paul's on there. Maybe y'all can check that out if you like his wisdom. There you go. Like I said, I will probably not be out. If I do any streams between now and Monday, it's probably going to be those little impromptu vertical fireside chats that I do. But I'm not going to do the regular show this weekend. I need a break. I need a reset. I need to focus on job, career, getting my head in a different space for that. And I just need an overall break from all the I need a break. It's self-care and prevention of burnout. So I'll see you definitely next Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. If I see you before that, it will be a spontaneous vertical stream that I do here and there. And Joe and I may do our Nexus show tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern if we come up with a really good topic. But I'll probably push for taking a break from that. So anyway, I'll see you when I see you, or I'll see you next Monday. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Keep being cool, and have a good weekend. Take care, everyone.